enacted also, it was the National Convention Arms Control legislation. This one, it is still under consideration, and we believe it will be taken to Parliament soon. I did talk about the Department of the Drug Enforcement Agency. This was the agency that was established in 22-23 to help in the issues of anti-money laundering. As you recall, there was a time that Botswana was grey-listed because of issues of anti-money laundering, and there was a need for Botswana to actually enact some laws that will help to combat the issues of drug abuse and money laundering, because it was discovered, or there was some evidence that some monies that are used in drug dealings were actually laundered through our systems. So as we have already affiliated to the international organizations on anti-money laundering, there was a need for Botswana to enact some of the laws. I will also talk about the Refugee Welfare Management Program. That was the program, like I said, that has moved to the Ministry of Justice. By then, it was under this ministry. It was meant to take care of the asylum-seeking people from different countries, and Botswana being a signatory to the United Nations Convention on Protocol relating to refugees, we are mandated to be assessing and giving asylum to people who are coming from troubled jurisdiction who come to Botswana. So the welfare management program was under the Ministry of MDJS then. It is now moved to Ministry of Justice. There was an issue that the ministry was dealing with then, the anti-human trafficking program. This is a transnational crime, that people traffic people either within the country or through the country. So there was a need as a country to ensure that we protect our own against human trafficking. Also to ensure that our territory and our borders are not used to traffic people. I do have my colleagues who, this is also one of the issues that has been transferred to Ministry of Justice. But in our midst today, there are some of my colleagues who dealt with these issues. Then, if the chairperson allows and there are any questions, they will assist in responding to them, The other issue that I want to deal with, is the Office of the Receiver. The Office of the Receiver, is the office that was established also to deal with the process of crime. It is the office that is currently moved also to Ministry of Justice. And they were acting on court orders to seize and retain property or money, including real estate, livestock, plant, equipment, or household furniture, as per what the court will instruct them to do when cases were still being investigated. We have realized that over the years, some money have been, once the cases were closed, were given back to their owners, or the property was given back to their owners. But for cases that are still ongoing, the Office of the Receiver continued to be the custodian of those goods, to take care. And one of the issues is to make sure that the value of the money and the real estate that, or any other thing that has been taken away from the owners, is actually, the value is preserved. So you will realize, even in our books, that there are some monies that are any interest that are being taken, that the receiver is actually taking care of. And some of the challenges actually that the receiver is facing, say, is the challenges pertain especially to livestock, because they are supposed to take care of the livestock of people that it has been confiscated from them, and the upkeep of that livestock has been one of the major challenges that the receiver is having. But like I say, these are some of the projects, the operations that the receiver dealt with when it was still within the Ministry of MDJS, but it has since been moved to Ministry of Justice. One of the issues that we are dealing with is the licensing and the management of the private security services. That is the service that is now remaining within Office of the President as part of the rationalization that took place in November. The role of this service is to take care and register all the private security to ensure that they are compliant to the Act, so that the nation will feel secure, knowing that the people that are licensed to take care of them are actually following the Act. Currently, and one of the projects that we dealt with under this one was to digitalize the operations through, we worked with the Ministry of Communication and Smart Boards to make sure that the application, the renewal of licenses are actually done properly. Because this is one of the 8 major issues that the citizens of this country will have to have the peace of mind knowing that the security companies that are taking care of them are actually registered properly. During the period under review, there were 126 private security companies that were licensed. And it was bringing to, the 126 were licensed in the period under review, but in total there are 5,193 security companies that are licensed, that are being monitored continuously under the Ministry for State President. I'll also talk about the military veteran affairs. This major part of it falls under the BDF, but there's an act that deals with what happens when the members of the Defense Force leave the service. They need to be taken care of, and it is through this unit that the veterans are taken care of. The ministry is currently working to resource this office, because when they were still at MDS, they were generally resourced by seconded officers from BDF. But we are working, since they have been transferred to us, to actually facilitate them to do the work in partnership hand in hand with Botswana Defense Force. The Legal Aid Botswana is an arm that deals with helping Botswana in legal issues. It is currently transferred to Ministry of Justice, but by then it was under the Ministry of MDJS. And during that time, they did a campaign called Mwele Duwami Botswana Television, which actually raised awareness among Botswana as to how this body can be helping them. So they continue to help. They have built different sectors across different offices, service centers across the country, so that the service can actually be taken to people. So the centers are currently 6 in Gaborone, Francistown, Maunga, Sani, and Tabong. I do have colleagues from Justice, from Legal Aid Botswana here, even though I'm saying that it's currently within the Ministry of Justice. The ministry experienced some challenges during the year under review. One of them, as has always been the case, there were challenges in funding. A lot of funds then, we go to project review, we apply for funding, we are given funding, we start project, but somewhere along the line, there were a lot of budget cuts, which led some projects either deferred or not completed on time or implemented in a phased out approach. We also had some challenges on the way the payments by the private securities were done. They were centralized, where people from all over will have to come to Gaborone. But I believe we are now working on how we can, through the improved digitalization that I talked about, to ensure that we allow citizens throughout the country to have services provided where they are. Even though there were some of these challenges that they were facing, as said, the ministry came up with some of the intervention to ensure prudent financial management. And there was a high-level project oversight committee that ensured that all the projects were implemented on time, and then all the revenues that were supposed to be collected were collected on time. Mr. Chairman, in conclusion of my executive summary, I want to touch on the budget outturn of 2021-2022. The revenues, as we are all expected, the ministries are expected to, when they budget, not just to ask for money, but also to raise revenue in all the other aspects of the ministry. We had an estimate budget of the ministry to collect 28.4 million. That year, 28,484,580. But the collection was higher that year, sir. When we estimate, because the avenues of revenue collection, we do an estimate depending on what we know at a point in time. But usually the outturn might be determined by so many other factors. And this particular year, sir, as my colleague here will help me when we go to the figures to say why we collected more. I think it was mainly because of the improved measures, especially on collecting the licensing from security. There was an improved coordination and improved supervision of the licensing of the security services. So the money that was coming from the licensing led to an increase in revenue collection. Let me talk about the recurrent budget of the ministry also. That particular year, we were given 8,483,008,980. And this amount was meant to run everyday affairs of the ministry, by which at the end of the year we had spent 99% of the funding. Let me talk about the development budget, sir. The development budget had a budget of 3.1 million, 3,134,776,300, which was meant to do development projects in the ministry for the MDJS, Defense, Security and Justice. Justice and Security. And we did, at the end of the year, had spent 43% of the funding. Part of the reasons we've also put them in the main body of the report, say why we spent below expectation. And part of it is that some of the projects were actually transferred away from the ministry. But we will give those details as we go through the report, sir.
Thank you very much.
In conclusion, sir, let me thank you and do request, sir, that because of the moving of different parts of these ministries to different parts of other ministries, I request through your chairperson that some of the questions that are coming, you allow us to be assisted by some of the project officers or mandate holders who are with us here today, sir. But we'll do our best to answer all the questions. Thank you, sir.
Nyame mira le bogande rutule kopo ya gago me gore ba khone gore ba khone gore ha bosupi kana gore bo ba ikanne potso e motho a ka e botsang gore ba justice ba teng
we have the receiver, he's here. We have the one dealing with the refugee management, she's here, sir.
Okay. Ga se gore gongwe re etsa hela ka go bona gore ba ta tlhokagala leng we le gone re ka ba ikanisa ha ile gore gongwe batho tegi gongwe ga bana dipotso tse di thata o ka di araba.
We appreciate that, sir. Thank you, sir.
O ka di araba. Re ta kopa batho tegi gore ba simolole go buisanya le accounting officer. Re simolola gona le sengwe ka go matute ne le kolana go tswa ka ha botete le mau. Right, so Honorable Lesedi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Accounting Officer and team. Accounting Officer, go na le kganye ya sex offender registry act. What is the progress?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Thank you, Honorable Sedi. Sex Offenders Act was passed through Parliament. It's been enacted. So currently we are taking the board members for approval. So once the board members are approved, we will start working on the registry of registering all the sex offenders. That's the update that I have, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, how lebile accounting officer o dumela gore ke so se se ka tsaya nako e kae go appoint a board?
The cabinet memorandum has already been prepared and it is going to go through cabinet maybe in the next 2 or 3 weeks, sir. After which, if it's approved, then they will start working, sir. Thank you.
Sex Offender Registry Act. Your name is basically we just.
I am told that it was passed in 2022, sir.
Kamaikelo lo agore irhai hita. Commencement date ya unikali.
Well, I'll come back to you with that answer,
okay.
Sir. Yeah.
Because you see, you don't just pass acts. How do you hit the parliament on our commencement date? It's trying to implement you. So we are now 3 years. I think that is why honorable member is concerned about it. They are sex offenders. Honorable member.
Sorry, maybe what would you sex offender what explanation would you give to clear the confusion?
According to the Act, sex offenders are people who have been charged with sex offenses, charged and convicted, and then they will be put in the registry. Such things like rape or any sexual assault that has been done. But I think the important thing is that somebody should have been charged, and so that you know there are a lot of hearsays on people. So you don't want to put people in the registry where there is not enough evidence. So I think the Botswana police will be working with the courts to really ensure that people who are charged through the courts, charged for any sexual crime,
charged and convicted.
Charged and convicted, say,
Okay.
for any sexual crime, will now be put in the sex offenders.
Okay. Honorable Sedi,
Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman. No.
Okay. I can remember county office.
We appreciate that, sir.
We
We will speed it up.
top a body.
Error.
So I think high lord Malawana Musola one parliament or our Janum, you should expedite all processes.
We'll
So
expedite,
that
sir. Error.
yes.
Thank you, sir.
May I?
I get a honorable Caponero Usiame Modi follow up. Give one how we listen.
How I like you honorable Polo, no Polo.
Can I get a commencement date? Jack and no Ikupili. The record here will show that it was December 2021, not 22.
According to the records. Tota hela khayeto na go lwa bona re yone e diegile kore mokgwa wa se ga rona wa go bua dilo hela di bodisa diragadiwe go tla re nakong o eme wa itse dio ha di builwe di bile di pasitswe tota di tshwanetse tsa diragadiwa mme ano ka re ha ngwe la ha di sa diragadiwa re itumela hela re di buile and ha re di buile e ke gona ga re dirile tiro. I think this must come to an end.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, me make well mo go yona gore go accounting officer go ka ba gona le dingwe tsa ka re di tlhalosetsa re le this committee gore me gone ke eng o tsere nako e kana ke ra gore yana ha o boela back to December 2021 can see now gore it's for 4 years almost go ka bo go iragetseng because tota tsolelo ne le gore ka be setse le mo tiriso.
Thank you, Honorable. I think we do appreciate that it has taken so long. It has just been transferred to the Ministry for State President, of which we have already started the ball rolling. So, because this was in another ministry at another point in time, say, I'm not in a position just to say exactly what led to the delay, but we appreciate there has been a delay. And we request the Honorable PAC to help to appreciate the fact that we see the delay. We are speeding it up now that it is on our lips, sir.
And speeding it up mean that you are committing to get it functional by approximately when the end of the year.
Well, I think because the commencement has actually started off there, and these are just the implementation, the actualization of the implementation, putting the board together and finalizing the registry. We like I had said earlier on, the cabinet memorandum on the board has already been prepared. It is going through the consultation phase, and we believe within the next 2 or 3 weeks, it will go through cabinet, after which say we will implement, and we believe we will implement long before the end of the year, sir.
Long before the end of the year.
Yeah.
We know long before the end of the year.
Yes, sir. We are taking it very seriously, sir.
Yeah, we are noting it.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Honorable Sedi?
Thank you, Chairman. Ke ko kganyeng ya di private security companies. Accounting officer, kuta o bua dipalo-palo mme gongwe se motho a ka eletsang go se itse ke gore mo di-company tse le setse le digile di-license about 5.1 yo ne o bua ka ene ke dile kae tse di complyang ke tse di kae tse le ka bongwe le batsetsi di-license if gona le bangwe gore potso ke e boletsa ko gore kana di-private security companies tse e re ntswala ha lona le ministry gongwe le dirisanyana tso sente at the end of the day gona le sello tsa tsatsi le letsatsi se e leng gore re bona bone bao ba dirisiwang gore go amogelwa ka bone le gore jaanong bone o ka re ba beilwe ka mosing ke sello le khuranyo a meno ha wa kanya bana ba ma security a private gore ba khona go tsaya bo 3 months ba sa duelwe ba hirisitse ba tshela ya ka motho mongwe le mongwe a tshwantse go tshela le ministry le thusa jang gongwe gore go phelelong ya letsatsi bana ba ipone ba le bone le batho.
Thank you, Honorable. I think the ministry is aware, sir, of some of the companies that are actually flouting their license procedures. We have 1,860 companies that are active now, that we are constantly monitoring. And there have been some companies that violated their mandate, they violated their conditions, and of those 17 have been cancelled. We cancelled their licenses, and some we are continuously. Earlier on, I had said that the over collection of our revenue was due to improved means of dealing, supervising. So because of that improved effort to supervise and deal with, we are able to monitor very closely any company that flouts the license conditions. So we are continuously doing that, sir. But to answer your question, we have cancelled 17, sir.
No. Ya utwala gore le cancel 17. Ono kile ba bua ka 1.8.
Yeah.
This 17 o ra etswa mo go 1.8 or ke 17 yo go sele.
All constituents are error of the out of the total that have registered, we've got 1.8 active. And as we continuously deal with those that have registered, 17 have been found not to be complying of the total that has been registered. And then those had to be cancelled.
Okay.
No, Artsene, what is happening? Can how bua ka 1.8 out of 5.1? Hora or the remaining out of 1.8, correct? Or content has a 1.8. But I do understand, or it's 17 is its own. This is the license. What is happening at the remaining number from 5.1? How it's 1.8? What is happening? That's all.
I think like any other business, you register because you hope to do business. And some of them have registered, but they're not doing business. So they're not active because they tender and maybe they are not getting the business that they want to have. So they will have the right to do the business when the time comes, but they will not be having business at a point in time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Country Officer. Yeah,
o itse mo go yone ka ke kgaye ke dumelang gore mo parlamente mo di-officing tsa bone ba kopana le yone gantsi batho ba security ba ba re ba ba hirile mo di-security batho ba re ga ba duelwa 2-3 months ke re ga e le gore gongwe o hetala go e nngwe mo ke ba he sebaka
nya o ka se ba ha chairman.
Thank you, Chair. Gone mme the regulations tsa 2020 ya ka go kwadilwe di thusa go le kae mo seemong sone se sa dituelo kana di ikela go thusa go le kae mo seemong sa dituelo a re tse gongwe komponi ke e hilwe tiro ya duelwa mme ga e duele babereki last time mo parlamente go ne go buiwa gore ke kganya labor ha se kganya lona le regulators sampele go ntse jalo kana the regulations have taken into account gore the operations in broad tsa security company they involve workers.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I think the regulations will ensure that you do all that is needed for your security company to run. And that includes ensuring that you've got adequate manpower that is paid properly, because you actually also have to state the amount of people that you are hiring and the amount of money that you are paying. So when there is a labor dispute, yes, the people who are engaged have got the right to go to labor, but it is also our duty to ensure that you comply. I know of a case where one of them, we actually revoked his license because it was very clear that habitually he was not paying the people. But this is under one gov. We deal with what we need to deal with, but we engage other arms of government, which are the labor people, to deal with their labor disputes there.
Hana motsetse license yalo ha go wa boa gape o dira security company so hiwa ke government gape ga blacklist iwe ke ra gore ke go motsala license hela so wa eta the following day it repeats the same thing.
People can actually appeal say, but forming, because when they form other security companies, it is mandatory to show the directorship of those companies. So when people go out of their way to deceive the system, we do our best to ensure that we look through the directorship of the people who are applying to be given licenses. And definitely if you defaulted before and it goes through the board and the board sees that, they will not give you another license.
Given the high magnitude and number of defaulters in line with non-payment of workers, study security company, don't you see the number one? Yeah, or revokilwe company license one had to be very, very extremely low.
In fact, I wanted to follow up, Mr. Chairman, through you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
In the last year, how many companies have you blacklisted?
Honorable Kekhonegile, you said revoking one. The answer here, we said we actually cancelled 17, not one. But blacklisting, can I request that my permanent secretary responsible for the security help me, sir?
Kita mo lepelela mme kita jala ma parlamente nako ora gore honorable Lesedi ka dipotso tsa go di attract attention ntsi ha sna gore tlhalosetsa kita go hitala go honorable Monageng mare mmitse ka gore ga e botlhokwa thata e botlhokwa thata ka gore batho ba berekelang di security companies a ba tshetswe sentle wa itse ba hiri ba bone mme jaanong I will give you an example. Utsana go batho ba hirilwe ke company a ha lord security ga di duele gate bone ba batla ba le ho go tsa cancel go tsa puso ga gona ha etsanang teng batho ba itsheke ba sokola thata mare re agere ne le re o ka re mamrekisi ene o ka tswela hela tswile. Did you say that?
One of them.
Okay. All right. Right. Re mo kganye ya babereki ba security ya no accounting officer o rile o to re thuse le ya no re kopile gore lo yena o to ikana ka baebele go tsa ka affirmation. Thank you, sir. I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give
the evidence I shall give
before this Committee of Parliament
before this Committee of Parliament
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
and
nothing else but the truth.
nothing else but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Yes. Ke tsaya gore o ntse o utlwa dipotso tse neng di bodiwa re kopa gore ka bo hetshwana o hete ka tsone ke tla letelela mapalamente tse pedi go tsweng hong go tse tharo re ko re tlhaloganye sentle kgang ye ya babereki ba security mo Botswana ga gona le bangwe babereki ba ba beilweng ka mosing thata ke bone mme ebile kgantelo dithosa ba ikuela kae se
Ke a leboga modulasetulo ke dumedise le maloko a komiti go ntse a lo re na le dingwe re go tsa babereki ba di-company tsa security gongwe ke simolola ka go tlhatswa yone ya gore ke eng re ne re kgang ke kgang ya mohiri le mohiriwa e be nna kgang ya labor ke sone se gantsi re reng ke kgang ya labor ga be re lebile gone gore security company o operate legally o na le mohiri yo a mohirileng mohiri yo ha sa itumella sepe se mohiri wa go sa se direng sentle thata go tsamela le tuelo mmereki yo o ka sala morago di tsamaiso tsone tsa go labor go bata madi a gagwe kante dituelo tsa gagwe mo company eo mme le ha molao rona o sa re lete gore re ka tsereganya go rabata madi a on behalf of mmereki yo molao re leta gore ha company sa comply le one molao wa private security re ka etsaela dikgato tse re di itseelang re kgona go tseela company dikgato ka gore ga ya duela babereki ka gore go ne mo hela ka bo gone go ira gore private security services di ska tsa tsamaisiwa sentle so gantsi nyana se re se dirang re dirisana le lephata la labor ko babereki ba setseng ba kile ba ikuela teng ko labor go na le mekwalo e supang gore ba ikuetse ko seemo se ntse jalo re lebisa di-company tse mabaka one ao gantsi se re se dirang re ba neela nako gore ba arabe yone kgang eo ya gore go na le kgang ya gore ga na duela babereki ke ba batswe go itshupa ko labor be ba hiwa nako e rileng bo 21 days 30 days morago ga sebaka seo ha ba sa dira jalo jaanong body ya private security licensing e na le sebaka sa gore e ka ba tseela license gore ga ba ke ba tswelela ba gweba jalo ka mo go yone tiro so dingwe tsa dilo tse re dirang ke gore re ye ko di-company tsone tse re kopana le jone bodiredi ja di-company being the security guards le management wa di-companies go leka go ba rutuntsha ka gore molao wa reng ha di sa tsamaye sentle le babereki le ka tsa dikgato dihe le lona company ditlamorago tsa go sa dira dilo sentle ka nna dihe mo di-company tse di supiwa di tseetswe diseletso mo ngwageng o itileng bontsi ja tsone ne le tse di ileng mo go yone thulaganyo yone eo ne re tsamaise ka yone thulaganyo ke tsa gore ke tota ga re nkgakolola ka blacklisting ko go rona ga re blacklist re tsa gore ga o tseetswe license o sena license gore re ga o operate.
Okay,
Chairman.
Honorable Lesedi
ke ne ke re hela jaaka a santse e tshwere yana gongwe a re tlhalosetsa gore a mme ba we e le ministry gore go na le bone ba ba tabong ba ile le ba bangwe mo e leng gore mo mabake a mangwe ko morago bontsi ja nako ba ba tabong ba sa leiba mo di-company tse dingwe ba tshaba gore disclosure ya maina a bone ba o hella ba kubiwa mo tirong a seemo se ba le ministry a ba we ka sone
ke a leboga le re re seemo seo re a se itse re a se tlhaloganya mmereki o kgona gore e re ha na le matshwenyego ao a ba a tshaba go supa matshwenyego ao a dumela gore ka o santse a tshwere tiro ba go montsha mo tirong but rona gape go dingalo gore re ka re a komponi ipe re nyakana re na le ngongorego ya gore ga o duele re itse gore ga o a duela babereki jana le jana le jana mme re sa kgone go supa so ke sengwe se e leng gore se le rona ra se tlhaloganya ke sone se gantsi ha re ile di-inspectioneng ha re buile le bone di-guards le di-employee re be re tlhaloganya gore gone mme go na le ha ba ka seke ba itshupe gore nna o ka presenta leina la me ga ke a duela mme gone seemo sa rona re le bodiredi ja company sa tshwenya ka gore ga re duelwe kante re duela late ha re hetsa di-inspections go na le feedback e re hang one management one wa di-company tse gore mme dingwe tsa dilo tse re di setseng mo di-inspections ke gore go diragala jaana le jaana mo di-componeng tse re tabe re ntse re gongwe re le beile leitho go bona gore a dilo tse di tsamaya sentle
Mr. Ramokate, kore a kere mo di-officing tsa bogolo jang tsa mapalamente ke dumela le one ma-councilora tota ba tshwengwa ke dikgang tse tsa gore di-company tsa bone ga di ba duele kore seo ka se gakololang keng ga batho ba tla ko di-officing tsa rona kgotsa le bone tota ba berekiwa re ka ba gakolola gore ba dira jang ba because labor gone gangwe ba ile go tsaya lebaka le a re ka ba gakolola gore nya mme office ya Ramokate ke ye mo tshwareng le ipobole
ke a leba Molestilo ba ka re tshwara le rona ba ipobola ba supa se se diragalang go di-componeng tseo ka re se ta ira gore le rona re tsenye leitho teng ko re kgone go thodumela gore gore go diragala mo di-componeng tseo ba ka re tshwara ga gona mola
ke le gore re le mapalamente to ba tla le tsone di-number tsa gago ka re batho ba bantsi ba sa tsewe sentle
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. PS, issue ya security e dingalo thata ba ga ba tshele sentle thata. Ke batla go tlhaloganya dilo di le mmalwa. Ke batla go tlhaloganya gore ka gore ma security ba tlile go nna ba kana go rona ba rotlhe dilo tsa bone di go dimo thata di dintsi. It makes me believe gore go sengwe ga se dire sentle. Ene go tla tlhaloganya gore publicity ya lona le dira jang gore ba gone go itse gore ba ikuela ko kae ebile this year le dirile eng to do that. For instance ha ile gore le na le dijingle go radio, do you have those? Do you have adverts on newspapers? Do you have adverts on television? Do you have a Facebook page or somewhere where you advocate gore ba gone go itse because ba ntsi ena ba na le mathata a mantsi but na ke se ke utlwe sepe ke se ke bone gope go kwadilwe ka lona, so maybe you make us aware of that. Also I want to understand PS gore this year alone le rile surprise inspections kai ala tele di tsamaye mo la go tlhola ma security hal se ira yalo di ke tla le go utse ko police college. There's a loud cry then go ya ma security, a very big cry then go le then go ke batla go tlhaloganya gape gore di course ha re la ba trainer ka melao this year alone le train ba ba le kae. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Ramabel. Nko di gareletse tsa security di botlhokwa thata di kgantse raitso na ebile ke itumela le go bona wena Mr. Ramokate gore ya re tare ha motho a bua ya le go kere mogala wa Ramokate kiwo e bua le ene ka gore na o itela re palelwa ke go dira rabololo
ke a leboga Molestilo. Re na le di-program tse ne re tsene mo go tsone mo radiong thata mo ngwageng o hitileng re ke ra go di-private radio station thata ke dumela gore ko Duma FM re ke ra teng re ke ra ko radio Botswana tota mo di-programmeng tse e leng gore di na le phone in ha re sena go bua re thalosa re tella di-phone line gore di bulwe be ba ka kgona gore ba kgele ba re botse dipotso ke sengwe se ntse re se dira office ya rona ya se dira modulasetilo wa committee yone ya private security licensing mo go tse dingwe wa ba le teng le ene gore a ikutele ka itsele ka tsebe re Facebook page ya the Ministry of Defense and Security ne re nna re ntsha mabaka mo teng ga ntse re le ka go supa gore re dira eng re sola di company tsa security di itse jang ha go tsamaya go tsena go ba bereking di direng me ke tsa gore ga go le rona ne re dumela gore ga go lekane ne re tshwarela ke tsone di tsompelo gore di ane di re tshwara re sa kgone go goroga gore ba ta goroga teng. Re na le association tsa private security licensing di le pedi go na le e emetseng di-company, go na le e emetseng bone bodiredi ja private security services. Ba na le di-representative mo boarding yone ya private security licensing board. So ke batho ba e le gore gantsi ha re na dikgang re leka gore di tsamaise ka bone le bone re ba kgone gore ba di tsetse dikgang tse di tswang ko malokong a bone. Mme gone ne go lebe ga ba santse ba na le thata yone association ya bodiredi e santse e na le bothata jone ja ditsompelo le one ne ba itela gore le ha ba le association yana ba legally registered go kgona gore go malokong a bone ga go motho ka go thoka tsone ditsompelo. Di-inspection re dirile di-inspection le ngwaga o tota re di dirile mme honorable Mabeo ya ka gore re tsenya diithokotse di gona di-inspection tse re di dirang ka yone information e tshwanang le e taere nya mme re bona seemo ko boketekete ka re ga sa nna sentale ka go thodimela re taya kotse mo gone gongwe pele ga kgwedi e tang e wela re taberile ko ke tsa gore ba reeditse ba ipaakanya go ba teng ga rena go ithela go le bothata.
Thank you. Last question on private security.
Ke kopa go ba fa kgakololo fela. Do you have a comprehensive communication strategy? If not, please work on that strategy. Work on a detailed and comprehensive communications plan, at least, specifically to address this problem, because this is a very big problem. I offer myself, or that draft, you can email to me. I will also try to assist. I'm a communication specialist. I offer myself. You need to have a detailed, comprehensive communication strategy that addresses this. This is a big crisis. Yeah. From here, we say, so that my security, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Le one body teng go ra gore tare ha re kopana go botokong or ne le detail tsa lona re tle re kgone gore re thusa batho a re tsweleng pele ke tsena mo go wena honorable Monageng.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yo batla re go golole wa na kunyana le ngale gore bolate mara tsenye
Chairman, ha re advantage right now go ngwa bua number e tshwantso e ba ka iletsang just for publicity, just that one number e ba ka iletsang
aro ta itsa morago is fine ta itsa morago
landline.
Una are mo leteleng gore o ta itsa morago tota yone e batiwa kwa but o ta itsa morago ke a go letelela
Chairman
o ta itsa o ta itsa morago ha ngwe bile ka nna tisiwa ke nna ena ke le bolela number e le ke sorry Raramgat o ka re ba re tse dingwe ba go thoka teng a siretsene ko mading right, Honorable Monageng.
Thank you, Chairman, and welcome, Accounting Officer and your colleagues. I often have 3-4 questions, very short questions. The first one, you talked about the livestock and the receiver, livestock kept by the receiver. Where is this livestock kept, and what are cost implications in keeping them?
Di bewa kae dikgomo tse kgotsa leruo le a kere ke yone potso ya gago
Leruo.
Le bewa kae
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Honorable Monageng. As you are aware, sir, that this is confiscated livestock out of a crime scene or a crime that has been committed. So the place where they are kept we are trying not to divulge where it is for security purposes, so that we don't tell those that the cattle have been taken from them to follow up and go and take it. But definitely there is cost implication, because earlier on I said we are trying to preserve the value of everything that we've taken from people. So it means in the meantime, they're going to be fed, they're going to be vaccinated, they have to have somebody taking care of them. So there's a lot of financial implications, and that is the budget that the receiver will go and request through Parliament to say, as we are keeping all this property of other people, they need to be taken care of properly, so that by the time the court finish with their issues, I had said earlier on that at times when the courts finish, they will be instructed to take it back to their owner. So we want the owner to receive his goods in the way that he had handed it to government, sir.
Thank you.
Che. Pupa,
Around 1,000. What a ride. I
right.
ride.
Thank you, sir. Mamrex, wa re ga go letlelelo gore go itswe ko di beilweng teng. Mme ntlha tse dingwe tse le ra itse ro tlhegela gone mo ntlweng ya gore di beilwe kae tse di ko ra moalusi.
Ramme ke maikelo le gore re se ra dira jalo se gore re di be di le safe for banga tsone le for the state, sir. So
I'm saying this because Mamrex ka gore kana ha di setse di le mo mabelong wanao e be le sa bolelle bona ba di tlhokomela ba re bolella gore kana ano di khomotse di a swa di a reng sometimes ba tla go go rona as members of parliament to say this is too much for government di khomotse di a swa government wa lusa mo go tsone ra di tlhokomela ra di je sa ka go nna luba kore ba re bolella they come to us and plead with us gore official lona e dire sengwe ka bohego ka tsone. Meanwhile lona le emetse kgotlatshekelo e leng gore ga re itse gore e tla neta. Now I'm sorry to have divulged this information ka gore ba tla go gore na ba mpolela gore kana di khomotse le tsa ga semammantsele yaanong ke mathata.
It means that people who are given the custodian of confidential information are actually breaching that confidentiality. They are not supposed to do that, sir.
Chairman, I think I do understand what the accounting officer is saying on the issue of security and confidentiality. But when you consider the cost or the value, we're talking of the value, according to this, the value over 2.4 million. Yeah, no. We are members of this committee. Parliament honorable Mutausana and I would di potso and on how would you put so was a yaraba. You are not responsible enough. I just off camera. Bro, who dim you mataitaya. About Sebeta, really members of parliament, members of this committee. And then gets our enough or spirits and jealous keep you alone. Yeah, what's an chairman?
Hey, Nakahuta Minikiri, Leronakana, Renzer Nalasabaka Savori, Recaba engager off camera. So let's add the sense of Nasabaka, so engage off camera. So that Harry, Dina will Timar Gurtare, well,
100%. Good advice. Second question.
ne ke batla go itse gore tsone lone leruo le a lo lebelela hela from the records di nna lebaka le kae ko go lona
Thank
the
you.
maximum period.
Thank you, Chairperson. Can I, like you are aware, said this is a court order that you confiscate based on the court order, and until the case is completed. So we can't say when, because we will also now depend on when the cases go through courts, and then there's a judgment, and then the judgment will determine whether the owner take it back or it is sold to retrieve costs. So because the time of the cases in court is something outside our influence, it is very difficult, say, to try to say how long we can keep, but some of them have been really kept for quite a long time.
Second question.
I don't know where the cost said di diragalang. So halo level la di cost that a di end up di exceed the value of the animals kept.
Let me ask for help, sir. Can't see it ahead. I'm being advised that since the formation of this office, we have not encountered any situation where the value of the asset that is with us, the cost of taking care of the value, the cost of taking care of the asset has not exceeded the value of the asset. But it's something that is continuously under review, and we will continuously report on it, sir.
Thank you very much. Honorable Monageng, can you continue with your engagement?
Let me chip in. Chairman, ke a go kopa.
Thanks.
Yeah, me ke re santse re lo gono ho accounting officer. Gone me according to tse di setseng di iragetse before. Go tsana go e kae ha ele gore leruo la mohuta o le ka tshwagana ka le swetse mo diateng tsa ga receiver. Go tsana go e kae gore e re ha case hela yo le mo lebaganang a compensative ka gore ke dumela gore go lo mo ke sello le khuranyo wa meno o ka re le tsa dingwaga tota mo batho ba hellang ba ithoboga gore ba ta thoba ba duelo bo ba tekodi tsa rona gongwe ke gone re inquiry gongwe sengwe setswe le tsana go e kae.
Can I be allowed, say, to get assistant on this one, say, from the office of the receiver?
Yeah, please provide further conferencing. You know, I think.
I'm being advised, Hori, we have never had a situation where we were not able to pay back when the court said we should pay. So I think that's the best that I can say, sir.
Was that your question?
No. Ko re ke belela gore ka gore o no bua ka conference chairman gongwe ha ngwe motho o ta bonga advisor kana a neta ha karabo ba se utwa sente tota nne ke re potswane ke gore ha le ruo le ka swela mo go bone go tsana go e kae gore a le gore court e tabe e ntshitse judgment motho yo tshwanelwang ke le ruo leo a duelwe e le compensation.
That was the question I had.
I think I did hear that question, sir, but because what I'm hearing is that it has not happened. Every time the court says give back to the owner, we have been able to give back to the owner according to what we have taken from her. And I'm told for error.
the issue here ke gore ha o go tsale ba ka le lelele court he tse pronounce motho a ise a neelo phimolo dikiledi ya gago ka gore le ruo la gago le thoka le sule so ke re a re tsenye le gore re tse mo ga gore re le balebe gore a me go a diragala gore re court he tse pronounce mo go tsale ba ka le lelele motho yo nga ise ya duelo.
I hear that, sir, and I appreciate it. But what the officer of the receiver is saying is that up to now, when the receiver is instructed by the court to give back, they have done that. We have never encountered a situation where we needed to stay a long time with the assets of a person without paying them back.
I see a guy when a report the pairing, he gets to channel. Harialo, in Parliament, there is a power or our Honalabang of Vatilum, because I'm Moyotilum, or not Coty pronounces. Would you really? No amount of defense really will help here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Remember my first question. Second question. On security, how is the ministry addressing emerging security threats such as cybercrime, human trafficking, and cross-border crimes?
Thank you very much, sir. Earlier on, I did explain that we have the government has established the Drug Enforcement Agency, which deals with issues of human trafficking, the security of the human trafficking, and the security of money laundering. But as I had also said at the beginning of my presentation, sir, on the executive summary, the issues of cybercrime lies with the Ministry of Communications. They deal with it, but it falls under the whole policy on security, which currently there is the ministry is actually working on the development of the overarching security, National Security Act. They are working on that, but currently cyber security is within the Ministry of Communication and Innovation, and the other issues of security when it comes to patrolling the territory of the nation lies also with so BDF and Botswana Police are actually helping in patrolling the national territories there.
This issue of human trafficking, Naraginsana Kili Monaching. I get to the Gipots out a honeme, a Wadira Halhore, but to bow to a Botswana, Beba Rekisiwa. What does human trafficking mean, really? And Samosa things since Amo Botswana.
Thank you, sir. Human trafficking is where you take people and you use them to exploit them on labor issues mainly. It can be national, it can be across the nation. I also talked about human trafficking being a transnational crime, where you see that your territory can actually be used to transport. You are aware, say, that there are some instances where there were people who were being trafficked through our territory to other neighboring states. And the Botswana Police, with all the other security enforcement officers, were able to stop that so that our country is not used as a transit. But even the act that we are using nationally, there have been some instances that committee or the department that is responsible have actually identified that internally there were some people who were using, when you use the other side of the definition of human trafficking being extorting labor from or from minors working in farms. We did have some instances in some places of our country where minors were not allowed to go to school but to work in some other farms, being not paid enough for their labor. So that is actually there, sir. And we use this act, we use this molao to actually bring those that are flouting this to order. So it is there, sir. And we also see some of our young people in Botswana finding jobs in the international market, very lucrative jobs. They try to apply only to realize that all these are fake. So our law enforcement officer in our country will be working with the ones in those territories to ensure that we don't see young people looking for jobs and hoping they're going to be air hostesses, they're going to work in so many things, that only to realize when they get there, they are not necessarily, they are going to be used for sex slave or so many other issues that they have not applied for. So it is real, sir, and our law is helping to combat this, sir.
Thank you for making me understand
Thank you, sir.
the issue of human trafficking. The last one, I am an alwena tata mimike botsai le gore ga we khone, that will be fine. Kana motswana mo le mongwe le tsa go nna satisfied ya lor tota re sireletsegile mo molehatsheng. Re itse gore sesole sa rona se pudimatseba, sesole sa rona se ipapanne ka se se tshwanetseng ya ka re itse gore malatsing a go na le modern issues tsa sesole tsa ipabalelo. Re meangela re lehatshe a re siame ampo re tlhaela kgakala.
Thank you, sir. Like you rightly say, it might not be, I might not be having adequate answers to that. And the commander for the Botswana Defence Force, who was here, might have been the right person to answer that. But being in the ministry that deals with that and having taken part in some of the decisions in there, I am aware, sir, that there are some challenges that we are facing, especially when it comes to procuring the budgets to procure what we need to have. But I believe Botswana Defence Force would have answered that adequately, sir.
Always a bit unfair on her Oh my God. Oh, thank you very much. Nekere, bane baleha a BDF, rena rabu ale bon. So ke tsa karabu e dule mo go bone. Me se bane mba se bua, se go re ka share le wena ke gore bane ba supa gore kokoano go tsa putego ya go bua ka national security strategy. O ka re go ne go simolotse go le bonyanyana. Me ba dumela gore e ka re thusa thata gore bona gore batswana ba sireletsega. So we are not being the accounting officer, a state president, really, I think you have a role in terms of pushing over the national security strategy in the panel. So I think that is very, very important.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, okay, thank you, sir. Ka o dumedisa PS le lekoko la gago.
Thank you, sir.
Emma.
Yeah.
A re bue ka ke tlo transcribe ka BDF. Ne ke batla go bua ka welfare ya masole le mapodisi. I hope you are the right person. PS, this weekend I received very many calls messages, jalo jalo. Masole, mapodisi, prisons, batho ba ba tshele sentle, segolo jang the low ranking. Welfare ya bone batho ba e tlhokomelo ke mang?
Thank you, sir. Kana Commander Defense Force, Commissioner Botswana Police, and Commissioner Botswana Prisons are accounting officers on their own right, who got all the budgets to take care of their territory, their mandate. Expectation is that everything to do with their welfare, and welfare here, say, I want to believe you are referring to their progression, you are referring to their housing issues, you are referring to all the other conditions of service. That is the accounting officer's mandate. So I want to assume, honorable member, that all of them, the three that I've mentioned, have already passed through the PAC to answer for that. And as the ministry, we support them, especially when it comes to even their budgeting. Say, I think it's worth mentioning, even their budgeting, where they do their budget, it does not go through the normal budgeting process like we do, where we appear before the estimates committee, and they do have a specialized board that looks into their budgets. I'm aware, said that especially when it comes to Botswana Police housing, that one we did get involved, and we've been working with Commissioner Botswana Police to really try to improve the housing section of Botswana Police.
I think you have answered. I can confirm that, yes, indeed, we hosted Botswana Defense Force, Botswana Prison Service, and Botswana Police Service. But with the BDF, there was an issue. It's one of the areas where members of parliament will be willing to engage. But as for the others, we engaged. At the top. Yes.
One of the driving force that pushed for rationalization of the ministry to have Botswana Police and Botswana Defense Force report to Office of the President was to try to address these issues directly to Office of the President, to the President, so that all the issues that are affecting the personnel, the security of the nation are really taken and responded to timelessly. And I think it's one of those that this movement is trying to very quickly address, because really for a country to be safe, like Honorable Mnacheng was saying, for it to be safe, it needs to also ensure that the people who are making it safe are also taken care of. And those are decisions that were taken
Honorable
to ensure this.
I think you have answered the question.
I thank you, PS. Me welfare somebody must look at it. I'm happy, Yamapodisi, you did something like that. Yesterday, I had a call from a police officer who was in tears. Allah, le police le sole la re, le la dikeliti. It's unacceptable. You say that you are working on a national security strategy. It won't work if the welfare of the soldiers and the police is a Ministry of Defense. So especially on welfare, by their nature, by discipline, by force. But you as the PS, you should focus more on welfare. You should focus more on welfare. For instance, Baba retiring. By Lord Baba duetsu, Baba haba duelo. Hotama uncle for who duelo jang, Baba duetsu, Mudiza criteria thing, Baba sa duelo, when I came as a duelo.
Thank you, sir. I do agree with you, sir, that we need to, as a ministry, need to take care of the the welfare. And I think that's what I was trying to say, that the reason why all this rationalization was done was to really look very closely in the welfare issues. But there's also some grievances. And I think when somebody cries and comes to you, it's because they have got some grievances. There is also a protocol of how to follow grievances. And I must really state, say, that since the Botswana Defence Force and Botswana Police, or the Ministry of Defence, moved to the Ministry of State President, to the Office of the President, they have been allowed a platform. Those that have got grievances have been allowed a platform to really take their grievances through the minister. And the minister is working with the team that deals with there's the council, Defense Council. There's the Defense Council that actually addresses this. My minister, I know he does have meetings, constant meetings, to really address some of their grievances. The retired soldiers say, yes, they had an issue about their pensions. It's a very complicated thing because some moved to contributory pension, some were using the old. So in order to unravel this, there is a committee that has been set to really try to address them. They meet with them. They also have put together a negotiating team from their organization.
County officer. Namulele, Honorable Mabeo, Are Masole, Baba Chaisiti, Baba Ngobaduetri, Baduerelo, Sebato Banibasi Duerelo, Kakore, who was in the Samas on the pension. Mekona le Baba sa duelwang. Potso ko gore Baba sa duelwang. Ke ba sa duelwa me the counterparts ba duetswe. Me lo gone le ikela go ba duela le. Ha lo re hands le to go ba duela. Amadi a teng. I think that's what I'm getting from Ramabel.
Ke tlatswa gape. Ba ba duetsweng ba ke ba gore ke ba gokolota batho ba palo e kae. Go duetswa ba le kae go setse ba le kae.
Yes. Can you address that one? Because the commander of the BNF,
of the PDF.
I was a member for a long time. The commander of the BDF, ona super gona gore e o haga ka ya raba e metse ministry headquarters. So ke sone se ke bona mpotso e thamaletse tota ka gore ke tsa gone go commander. So please just give us a brief overview ya gore masole a duetswe ale kae a sa duelwa a kae ke ba sa duelwa ba ta duelwa le. I think that one is very, very clear.
Thank you, sir. As I was saying, sir, there are retired officers that have been paid. Some have not been paid.
Yes.
And the issue of calculating or paying, can I say, is not a very simple mathematics that says because their issue under their name that they have named themselves Audit. Their issues are not straightforward. They need negotiations. And what I was trying to explain to you is that they have put together their team, the Audit team.
Are you sure, Madam Accounting Officer, that you understand and appreciate issues around Masole Adwe Lasa Duela? Maybe this is the time for a short conference. Because this is a...
I do have figures, sir, and I would request, because it's a very specialized, in-depth issue. It's one layer security.
Yes.
Who is really at the head of it.
Please,
I would request that through you chair, you allow him to come and address it.
I'm surprised that you are not running ahead of us on this one. Because I thought this was an issue that you should be running ahead of us. The special constable. I thought that should be an issue.
Ra ke kopa gore the officer responsible for go spearheadang kgang ya re tshekeng re mo letlele monga ke a tlo go nthusa.
We also want to appreciate that gona le kgae ko court
Yeah.
but gona le kgae masole ba duelwang ba duelwa ka gore gona le dingwe tse di supile gore o ne ga di re sia mollo mo go bona.
Era.
Yeah, right. This is a very important one. Ramokati, wena o na le kgang ke ne ke just a second, sir, please. Situlo se sa go tshwanela go te. Gona le kgang e ne e kile ya bodiwa gore are you comfortable gore gongwe o ka neela contact openly hala gore no contact ya batho ba ile ba tshwenyega ka dikgang tse ba ka tshwara mang. I have since established that I've sent an emissary to you and you have said that you are comfortable, so I'm comfortable you can give us the numbers.
Thank you. Ke a leboga modulasetilo re na le number tsa ko officing yone ya private security licensing ba dilang le di tsone dikgang tse on a daily basis 369 8318 369 8318.
Thank you very much.
Le 369 3698 318.
Thank you, sir.
And then there's a second one 3698 223.
Ke tsone tsa ko
officing e dilang le dikgang tse.
how tshwara office e o tla bo kopa go bua le mang
Or na le di help desk officer ba ba teng ba le gone ho ba ba ka dilang le.
I hope they are very informed on these issues because I get on phone now itela monga gore na dikgang tseo a re ditlhaloganye go tsa batla go khatha gone ho
Mme ke bone ba nga kgang tota.
ke bone beng ba kgang ke a leboga ga re bitseng
Kana you are dealing with batho the lowly paid ba ile gore ga ntshinyana ha ro le ka go letsa wa phasena le one madi ka ga mogela ha le ke go introduce the cell phone mode office yalo so that you can be easily accessible. This one definitely is going to be very expensive for them.
In fact, Chairman, they should go a step further. They should introduce a toll-free number. You need a toll-free number because Rubeka Batubailo Habam, Halbo Maitan rate, Boma 1.2, Habam Relisepetota.
I agree with Tulo Mohopolo Rice. Can I give us the number of Genesis Pushots? It's a landline. Hela. You turn the Arab Arab. Adi Arabi Mutu. So, Kitaware Utule Mohopolo, a suggestion. If you found it worthwhile, please introduce that one.
Through you, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Whilst the accounting officer is still in his seat, these numbers that he gave us, the question that I want to resolve issues. These are people specifically to do with a different matter altogether, and now you are adding to do to receive calls that will be speaking to the issues that are very
These are officers who on a daily basis deal with private security licensing issues, from complaints from the public, complaints from employees, and issues that companies themselves may have with government or with the minister.
In average, now that there is a unit that is handling grievances, Okara a picture of the grievances directly because many pass through our offices.
No,
make it hard. Honore, but whenever a handy number at Sabone, Kitty Ravens and by Dira Halele. Yet the issue that raise with private security companies. So my question is, Rona Corona, di Lodina Ditla Elitza Bataba Duelwe. Or a meba to Honzonalababa directly to these people. That's only the issue. If the answer is yes, it can sekale se se kana kang to give us an idea, because rona re ba bona almost on a daily ba tla ba lla ka gore ga ba duelwe.
Thank you, Chair. These queries are almost on a daily basis also to us. But Kadi Paulo, currently, just last week, we also received a list that has over 40 names, which that office is also dealing with currently. And the companies that we have cancelled in the license last year, the majority of them, the issue that they had was non-payment. So it's the same issue that we are talking about. Or on a daily basis we receive so much, or in the last month we received so much. But it's the main complaint coming out of security personnel.
Thank you very much, sir. Ke tsa gore ra itsanyana le mogala ro tshotse. Ra yo ka re thusang ka kgang ya masole a sa duelweng. A ke ro ka tumela ha ra go golola Mr. Ramokati. O kana wa bua o kana wa bua di kgantse kana wena hetse o ikanne gale a kere o no lo ela re go busetse raiso ka itopela o ikana ka baebele erra a kere wa wena mo di kganyeng tsa masole
Ke mo tsa masole
a duetswe la sa duelwa le mabaka a one a re simolole jaana o ntsha le morago o ikane ka baebela tshwanetse le bogola go la moja o beela molema mo baebeleng
I Mukwedisiana.
Swear by Almighty God
Swear by Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
before this committee of parliament
before this committee of parliament
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth.
and nothing else but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Kana ha tsa ra tsora leboga. Ke ne ke batla gore gongwe ka ha o ka etsang ka teng o utule dipotso, go straight into it.
Mutula stile go itire dipotso. Tota potso e ke gakologeleng ke ya ga honorable Mabeo ya bohelwa gore masola mo ga duetswa mo ga duela.
Yes.
Ke ba maruri. Masola mo ga duetswa mo ga duela. Thata ke dumela gore rona re mo be o bulela o bua ka kganya di pension. Ba bangwe ba duetswe di pension ba bangwe ga ba di duela. Maybe go thusa go understand kganya teng. La go ne ke tata mo gore ke bangwe ba duetswe bangwe ba sa duela. Ke go understand gore tota gona ga tmme ba duelwa eng.
Yes sir. I will allow that.
Ka go ntse ka teng irile ka 2001. Masole le the rest of the public service ba neelwa di options tsa go movela mo pensioneng ye msha ye PSana e tlhalosa re contributory ba tswa mo go e kgologolo e ne le gore was guaranteed by the respective pieces of legislation. Ya masole e ne guaranteed ke BDF Act le di regulations tsa BDF Act. Ya no mo go bueng ga bone gona le go mo go teng denominator ra go calculate di pension gore go dirwa service ya ga go le baka le o le tsereng o ntse o bereka go multiply ba salary ya go ka dikgwedi tse o di tsereng go tswa bo go nna le a device denominator ya no denominator ya masole go tswa go go loe e dentse le ko tase ga ya public service if you divide by a smaller number you get more e le gore e diretse gore masole bana ba retire earlier than 60 whereas the rest of the public service they retire at 60. Yeah, no, have we already transfer value into the new pension? Go denominator e lekana ya 450. It was discovered later gore masolo tota gone nka ba divided ka 375. Yeah, no, pharologanyo ke yone e duelwang gompieno gore ha ne rile na go ena ba tswa ba divided ka 375 o ka bana ba bone transfer value ya bokae. So the transfer difference ke yone e duelwang. Ya no irile go tshimologong ga go calculate gore tota mme gone government wa go thoka bokae go duela madia go bo go calculate ke ka re go irisiwa the principal amount e government ka bana e thokile go duela madi but then ha go se go tamo go dueleng go go le mo gore kana mme madi ya batho ha ne ba tsenyeditswe mo funding
nako e ne o tshwanetse gore ka ba tsenyeditswe ka one o ka ba na tsa go di la funding tse ta e gona dingwaga di tsweletseng so yaanong madi a teng a godile la ntlha government na akanyeditse gore gongwe ba go tlhoka around 1.5 billion gongwe ke le tentse go bua kae 1.5 billion go duela but gompieno estimate e re neelwang ke di-actuaries le bo BPOPF gore go thokiwa around 4 billion so di-payments di simologile last year lesole di simologile last year around July yaanong unfortunately this thing is tied to gape kganya ya veterans affairs masole kana e ntse e le gore tota ga ba chase ko BDF di-file tsa bone di a tsewa hela di isiwa ko archives so di-payments ga di simolola go simolola go duelwa go ne go batla gore file ya mongwe le mongwe e move from archives a eta calculator gore o retire le transfer value ya gone le bokae e godile go le kae yaanong so di-file tsa ka di tswa ko di-archives nyana unfortunately ne di storiwa ke ka re haphazardly gore ne di a hela motho antse a retire di a tsamaisetsa so ga di-payments di ya ka go duelwana ke tamo gore go duetse ba ba rileng go setse ba ba rileng di-file ke ka re hela ka lesego la gago tse ne di ta ko pele di be di duelwa so bo go tswelela go duelwa up to December somewhere second week of December madi a ne government a hile
e le bokae
madi a ne government na hile 1.5 billion a ka ke bua
okay
but o ka ra ana neetswe NMG was around 1 billion that 1 billion
o ka re
this communication is between Ministry of Finance and NMG me gore ke ka kutong ka teng ke 1 billion gore ko Ministry of Defense ga ra kwa lo gore nya out of that 1.5 receipts 1 billion but I understand now as we discussing how madi a hela gore nya madi a hela tsenga diritswe ke 1 billion ke a re o kare because gora re ile a le ko ene
o bona right o thusa accounting officer o mo oathing me di kgantsa go ka re di ganela ko o kare a ke senke language e ka reng ka moso motho a ba re na ke a rialo ke rile a ke a re a re senke language e ntsinya
yes
and ke kopa gore papa malesente ha ile gore madi go diritswe 1 billion re bolelele ha ile gore a thaetse ya ka o supa 1.5 billion against 4 billion re bolelele hela papa
go diritswe 1 billion
thank you sir
1 billion e gore mir la ko NMG ga tsena go gora gore na ba motshwara ka tsela e leng gore o ena interest ga ena interest a tena ba e dirisa go tsweledisa dituelo so madi a ba heletseng ba a duela ke 1.246 913 a ba heletseng ba a duela a mangwe e le gore ke interest that was earned over the billion that was given to them madi a yaanong a duetse batho ba ka nna 2,968 batho ba ne ba transferile initially go tswa ko the old pension ya BDF go yone ya fund ya BPOPF we're just under 10,000 nearly 9,330 so yana go ra ka go duetswe 2.9 yana which is close to 3,000 re ka re go duetswe around 30% ya batho ba tshwanetse go duelwa yaanong batho ba botlhe ga se ba ba separately ba bangwe ba ne ba transferile are still active members of the BDF but the numbers keep on changing gore ba separately ya go itse ba tsweletse ba retire gore gore ba le ba separately go ba se close to 6,000 gore re ka re bo go ba separately go duetswe only 50% but out of the total number gore go duetswe 30 something percent ke ra gore ntse ya lo ya dituelo
so go ra go ka tswa gona le ba 50% e senye duelwe me e sa duelwa ka gore madi a thaetse
ka gore madi a hedile
a gona le indication ya gore madi a ta bonala mo le gona ga ka bonala mo nako e ke a kere financial year e ntse le gona e simolola ka April le wena
ya gore a tla bonala tota e nka e tlogela Ministry of Finance because we are consulting with them but ba re bolela le gore sepatšha ga gona sepe mo sepatšheng
no re ba reng
ba re ga gona sepe mo sepatšheng yes
okay or Mateo you're on the floor
oh thank you hey it's a really okay
Mr. Chairman, the officer na bua ka dipalo taba e leng gore gompieno ba setse ba kgonne go duelwa gongwe ga na ka ba o etse gore mme dola ga na bua ka di-percentage a supe gore in the actual number e ka bong e saletse yone e ka nna bokae
e gore 50% yo mmua eo gore e ka nna bokae just
e ka nna bo 3,000 ke ba ba separatileng ke bua ka ba ba setseng ba dile mo PDF mme go na le ba bangwe ba sentse ba le mo PDF.
Okay. No, I think
Chairman,
just
one. Just.
Yeah. Gongwe gone ha o taitele go na le bothata jwa gore ga ntsinyana ha go duelwa tsone di file tsonetse ha gongwe go ganelwa thata mo ba ba tshelang batho go na le ba ba thokahetseng ba ene gore ba amega bone le dira jang ka bone a le bone di file tsa bone ka lesego di a goroga ga ntse go gogiwa ela yana mo di fileng ka go harologana
ke motlaleleza Mr. Chairman ka ibile ke now on the floor 2.968 e wisting le netse di ranke tsa bone ke masola a feng a ke commissioned officers more or non-commissioned more
ba kopanyise ba ba se tseo ka ranke o e ka ke bua gore di file kana ko ne di story le teng tota ne di taela di sare la di story ha di story go tsetsa ba rana di nahale tsa di junior di nahale di kopana
e ka right a re tsene mo go
ya
gore kana gona le ba ba thokahetseng ba o bone dispensation ke a file tsa gore ne di goroga go di sutiswa go tikana yo o hetsa sa thola le mo botshelo re tammona morago
ba thokahetse le bone process tsa bone kore maybe I qualify gore ha go duelwa hela ba ba movetseng go BPOPF le ba bana ba setse kwa le bana di pension tsa bone ka ne di calculate go dirisiwa denominator entšha so BPOPF ba eleng gore ba thokahetse mme ba ne ba thokahetse ba joine BPOPF ba na le thulaganyo ya bone ba tsweletse ba duela gore ga go atonya ba thokahetse ba sella ko morago ba bangwe ba le bone ba we engage the master of the high court ka December ona sta tswetse ko bomaung kwa go na le ba duelang it's only that dituelo tsa teng ha ngwe itela ile gore di kota se mo batho ba tsang gore particularly ba ne ba sa movela mo pension ye kgologolo gore sa ba ba sa move from the old pension but the master of the high court o se tsa kila tsamaya go dispenser the first le gompieno ana o tshwantse ra tsamaya gape go dispenser for the second batch
ne ke se wena gone me gore madia a e go hela a kokotesegela accumulated to figures of 2 billion, about 3 billion, about 4 billion, about akanyetsang. What really happened? Kenga alisitswe a go nna ka lokalo mo gompie kwana nge nang a palegang go ra duelo.
Ya ka ne ke bua kore go mo ke ha ke tsora e ka discovery kana admission by government last year that indeed the denominator nkabio ene adjustiwa ka 1998 actually le gore e ka berile ha go transferwa ka 2001 bo go dirisiwa that better denominator go kokotela ga madi go dirilwe ke hela ke go performance ya fund over the years gore hela go dile ga government accepta ba dumelana gore nya we have to compensate for that denominator shortfall last year.
Would it mean gore someone slept on his or her job? Kore if re go ka be go diregile jana me ga go a diragala gore someone responsible should have made gore that action itself ya gore go duela batho.
In 1998 we can use that language for 1998 when the denominator for the public service was adjusted what lama solo ka bena adjusted accordingly ka 1998
nyame ke a utwa tota ke re ka ha o ibuang ka teng go lebe ga ke to ka re ko morago kwa go ne ga nna le oversight done sa le jwa sente e be re morago go di bona la gore a di otse ga di atsamasa that is what cost sekoloto sa 4 billion ya re na re hela re go mo o na itholala mo tirong tsa re utule eo me a re tswelle pele le kganye seo se buang gore 50% ya masole ga a duelwa me ha a duelwa bothata jo botona jo le butwa yana gore ga gona madi wa rialo.
Yes, sir.
Are you saying that?
I'm saying that.
Okay. Me bone ba kolotwa me ha gona madi.
Ga gona madi ga ra imise ka lebaka le pela konta gore madi a hedi.
Re mabeo?
Ke batla clarification go mo ga yone. Kore I don't understand the negotiation part. Gore a go to go negotiate wa ibile go supa gore go na le committee nngwe that has been set. Go negotiate wa a go itse what is due to them. Maybe we need clarity on this one. Ke a ke tlanta go utwa go pension ya negotiate.
E re ntse re bua ka yone ya negotiation ke ano ga ra go case nye go court gona le case e go court e masole ba bangwe ba ikopantseng ba tsa case ba isa go court gore bana ba ngoragela dilo tse pedi ya ntha bana ba ngoragela ne denominator gore case ile go court before government took a decision ya go denominator why adjust bana ba ngoragela denominator e nngwe bare we shouldn't have been moved to the BPOPF, whether given a choice to choose or not, because pensioner is prescribed by the BDF Act. So, the government recently said we need to engage with these people. To be moved back to the BDF pensioners prescribed by the BDF Act. Let's sit down and talk about this thing.
Honorary government has provided 1.5.
Honorable Monageng, you have been on the floor for some time. Can you please Arnelo bangwe sebaka?
Okay.
No, o ska tshwenyega. Ha kgang ha tse e na le go ka salo morago. Re ta go nela sebaka. I just want to get honorable members to know that we are in for a long, long Monday because we have a huge ministry coming. So, nehala kala hansel na le khatego mo go e re ka tswela pele honorable Diwana ba ta go heta ka sengwe e bo ke neela ene Romabeo.
No, totally. Egilmo party or negotiation or the explanation is that they want to go back. Or they were actually compelled to move from there to something else. Hey. But now, whose decision was it to buy Kubalintengu? Akia lona kana kia bone.
Kana ha to bona kare batho ba ipita ka digambare santse le go khoteana. Ke toga ke bua position ya government gore keng are ena ga dumele gore they were compelled.
Hey.
Okay,
ha ile re hantsi debate ya go court gongwe le wena o ka iphithela ka ba bangwe sala ba iphitha ka gore re ra ba utwa masole a chaisitseng bare ba ne ba batla to bare ba hiwa sebete ba kra ba hetseng ba duetswe bare ba hilo sebete ya la kganya bone hantsi le go court ba bua kganye ne me ya gompieno ke ya 50% e se ne le le sepe e le gore yone tota gona manganga ke ba kolotiwa ke batla o bua gore ba kolotiwa mme gompieno kgang ke goreng
madi a
kgadile a re tswelle ona re mabeo.
Okay, madi a kgadile plan ya rona ke ra la gore this year o budgetile bo bokae mme gone a kere di budget ne di submitwa maloba jalo le jalo o solofetse bokae and u tlo go ba le kae and then ya di records o supamanga monwana. Are you saying the BDF ga ya tsora di records sentle or ware Department of Archives, because former director wa archives ke ofa ware archives ke izele very good ka records keeping, so ware ke mang o sa bereka ka gore gore la archives ga itla fetso ntore ba arabe gore ware ga ba tshware dilo sentle ebile dilo tsa ma sole ga di nna sentle kana who are you pointing a finger at?
Ke ga ke tsora ke ga pateletsa BDF kore yala
gongwe BDF e disitse kwa e sa director ya cash gore tsa rona re batla di tshwarwa ka tsela ntsinyana gongwe le re batho ba nna ba re tshara hela be di isiwa hela because di tsentswe hela mo di-boxing mme gape re discover le gore tota mme le tshwana ga di a tsenngwa in chronological order ya gore ba ba retirileng ke ra gore go ntse hela yalo so but unfortunately I kitse gore yang ka blame BDF kana a cash.
How much have you budgeted for this year?
Madi a di-pension kana a budgetiwa under Ministry of Finance. So ga ke sure gore na ba budgetile mme go lebega hela ka maphata a mangwe na ba budgetile batho ba tsetso go tonyame ba di gae.
So e o e kharamela go finance a kere ba eta
ke kharamela go finance
ba eta bona re mabeo re sa morago ya bohelo re tere one ba bangwe
ke botsa ya bobedi chairman kana e dirile ya kwa le kwa
experience ya mi supa gore ke khaena le moko itumelela gore kaya go ina le moko ya kwa le kwa mme ya rotswela ka ya bora
okay
o totse se ka isa honorable Lesedi
PS gona le ma sole baba neng ba itsheka issue ya di linking le ya bontlole gona le ba bang ba ba saletseng ko morago. Are you aware of that?
I'm not aware, sir.
You're not aware?
Yeah.
Okay, let me make you aware. Ke buile ka rena ke tlo focus mo di issues tsa welfare tse ke akanyang gore
ya so Ramabel PS ga aware kana ona le rights how kai mo di khantse tsa madi a masole o ka o mothalihit wena are you aware sir ka khanye
ke aware hela ka gore nkile be ke le sole but ye ke le gore it's inside the BDF ke e handlwang ke commander to ke ra gore ga ke na di details tsa yone ka toga ka le misleader
ke gongwe ka bone re ibuditse commander okay
nyame kana gore la gore tseno tsa metse ke di sutseng di ga di ke di a bereka ka gore ga go to commander but like I said issue ya welfare tota ke akanya gore rona ka re ma civilian tshwanetse re lebelele pharologanyo kana ba le ba sesole bone o ka re ba nna gadinyana mo go ba bangwe ga ke tsora ke yone discipline ke style sa bone ke tsa gore PS jaaka le PS wa ile gore o PS wa Ministry wa Defense di shuta welfare tshwanetse gore di sokamele thata ko go wena ba masole bao ba sekile ba bo ba wina high court ya be ya odara commander BDF gore duela bana o ntse ga dira jalo ke go pa gore o e sala morago PS on welfare. We will not be able to achieve the national security strategy. How welfare ya masolarna is nasente. Ha masolarna ba se cheerful, ba sa itumela ba sa bereke sentle. Ha ba ka ba ba sireletsa gotlhelele. Issues of welfare o tsame gape PS we go thola dikampatse gore ba nna jang ga ba nne sentle gotlhelele PS. Also, a gona le mola mongwe o le rao ba kanya rao change because mola o ga wa nna sentle le ga le reta o tla buisana go ngona le sengwe se le se dirang. For instance, the private they retire at 45. Midi general zone di gona o retire at 65. Kana go rala di private they di putlereela. That's why ke keep sorry. Can't why former soldiers why do they look like ke batho ba ka re ba ko tlase thata? They look like paupers literally. Ba sotlega. Because the pension ba go raise a sepe even in the region because South Africa they retired 60 65 in the region ke rona la ba re go tlase issues of welfare that we need to really look into them ya go kopa ke bua jana gore next time ha retla ke tlebe ke follow mo tsone maybe in your office I'm going to come to you because these issues didn't thata tsa masole di tloka gore re di tshwaragane.
Yes, Honorable Mabeo is very strong on issues of welfare. The committee is very strong on issues of welfare. Can we make follow-ups on these matters? I know nearly progress on it. I
think maybe she needs to address the issue of 45 different retirement ages for any direction ya gore e ka hetoga mo bogauhi gore le ba ba seng di officer le bone ba ka retire at 60 like officers
go mo ibile one re ne ra etola na go ine ramasole a le o ka bana re ya rabile go ka pharologanya accounting officer accounting officer, or are you able to relate to this question?
No, sir. I think, like I was trying to address, we've said from the beginning, sir, Commander Defense Forces accounting officer, and issues in the welfare lies within him. And I think he would have been in a better position to address, because Kidi Act, they are under him. So we will take it, to discuss it within the ministry. I don't think at this moment I'll be in a position to answer, sir.
Honorable members, so when he comes around, because our tenure is 5 years, high Lord do Ditsama, Kauchon Zengati, Ratana Lisabaka Sabu Alene, Kayu Neo Happy, Carlona, Janu Tanel refer la Kuene, refer Habib Ali Zuru Hitili, Orariano.
Chairman, rukotela thata chairman.
I will do that.
Rukotela thata chairman. That's why I think this is
I have a duty. Right, so I have a duty to make sure that meteors are mustn't. Ready what? Ready what?
Ya leboga modulasetulo. Go na le concern thata ya abuse of illicit drugs by the youth. And ke a ipotsa nna ke le nosi ela gore ha go ntse yana re ya kae le lehatshe. Ra go helela kae ha bana ba rona ba setse ba le mo seemong sone se. Lehatshe le la go sala le bomang ha rona re tsamaya. So ke batla go botsa hela gore what are you doing ka seemo sone se? Kana se ama le bone bana ba sekolo ba ile gore ba isa sekolo re sologetse future mo go bone. So ne ke re gongwe lo tlhalose gore lo dirang to address this situation.
Thank you, Honorable. In realization of that problem AIB still has, that is why government came up with the directorate, the drug enforcement. The Director General of Drug Enforcement this year, who after the then Ministry of Defense and Security, was now realized this problem, they came up with this directorate to address this issue of illicit drugs. You will realize in our executive summary, we did talk about it. Drugs, but they have put together some programs and working with even the civil society to address this. But through you, Mr. Chairman, if you will allow me for in-depth analysis and briefing, if you allow it, say.
Yeah, it's our ulikile yaraba.
Era.
Mareskara ragodira selo modiro jana gore mole mota wa tilo ikana.
Era.
O yarabile radiwa o ka isala morago ha iloro wa gona.
Era.
Ke dumela gore we yarabile me o supa le phata hela le sa tshwarang sepe. This directorate, yeah, there is a concern that has been registered in your executive report of shortage of staff. So how do you expect this organization to run without staff?
Yeah.
Because for implementation purposes, you can't do anything without staff.
Yeah. I think it's worth noting, sir, the issue of staff. I've noted it. We have concern. We have even highlighted it, but we have started actually capacitating it heavily. We have, I think, for now we from senior management to middle management, we have actually given them people now. But the other issue is that's worth noting, it's a collaboration job. We work with Ministry of Health, we work with Botswana Police, we work with BRS to really combat this problem. Because BRS, because of the border posts, all these drugs, or lady immigration departments, all these drugs come through the border post. Botswana Police helps with even the rehabilitation. And a lot of rehabilitation work, we do it with the civil society, say. So yes, the DEA itself didn't have a lot of staff in the past. We have capacitated it very strongly, given the rising incidences of drug. But please bear in mind that even in the past, a lot of work was still done because of the collaboration with other departments.
Le shotelwa ke badiri a rialo Honorable Dikgwa. Le shotelwa ke badiri. Me ano tsholohelo ya rona ke gore ya ka o re solohetsa jalo gore le tale neela badiri mo nako e khutshwane. Ha re hetse re bua next time e ka se ka nna a recurring challenge.
Yes, sir.
Badiri.
Yes, sir.
Badiri hela ja.
We have actually- we have
government has put a cap. Yano a go tholwa go hirwa.
Yeah.
Ba bangwe ba itse ba re ba taba re yalo ba re go na le zero recruitment policy. A ke tsora lona la amega gone go.
Raamega say, but because a lot of people who were working with Rera Makurwana say on this, some of them were police members, some of them were Botswana Defence Force members. We have worked with this relevant department for transfer of this personnel to be directly now under the Directorate of Drug Enforcement, even though the collaboration with this department will still be ongoing. We've also considered Horgana is a completely new, so we are rationalizing internally to try to rationalize some of the posts that we have to capacitate his directorates.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Maybe we will need to appreciate. Just can you update us staff Sahaho or Sekai, Sese men and this, and the training component? How much has been done to make sure that they are capacitated to handle this mammoth task?
Rera Makurwana o teng gone.
Rera Makurwana o teng sir. Ke ene Director General wa
Ko dira conference e khutshwane ho re wetse dikgang. Staff sa go se kae, se trainwe go le kae.
at what level? Okay.
Mo nako e tang PS.
Era.
Go batla o e re pele ha o ta kwano. O bo tshwere conference ya gago le bone pele.
Era.
Ga ntse di basic thata hela tsone tsa bo gore ba bereki ba kae a ba trainwe hela jalo.
Thank you, sir. We will do that, sir. The current staff for its present that has been working 12, but 61 we are capacitating them. 61. We've been busy writing letters to join the 12 that has been there, sir.
So gona le 12 hela go shota 61.
Only 12 we are recruiting 61.
Oraro budikwa o bua network ke skeleton hela gona.
Staffing.
Staff.
Yeah, if you go to Muchudi, you go to Maungu level Lavana Barona, even in some of these institutions. What I want out this number is quite low.
Yeah.
High capacity to address this issue. So, whoever go home, Leka Hawkes at the Palos, if you go to Sela, Tata, or Hatsile, Lissale, Lissaroki, Baka, Tabula.
Please expedite the recruitment process.
Yeah.
Yeah, ibile go na le a lot of intents ko maphateng a kwana ba ileng gore ga ke tsora can they be absorbed or le bone ba go tlhoka some formal training e leng gore tla be le ba ganye le phata like dia le yone ga go lebege na le bodiredi ya la bo busiameng ko ntle ga o kela gore bontsi ba batho ba ba leng kwana ke BDF officers seconded to the ministry. So go botlhokwa gore kganye e bankang
ra budikwa ke tsa re la utwa e kore e ga se tlhokang defense ke ya hela gore tsamolo hira batho re thuse bana ba rona ba nyelela e ka ditagi ra budikwa ke le bogetse gore o bo sa tsana go entsi o re thusitse nako ya nyelela ka kwano le yone. Honorable
Thank you. Mary Dumedise PS le koko la gago. Mo state president, le na le di officera ba bereki ba le kae ka palo ba ba mo leveleng ya PS le deputy PS.
Counting officer.
Thank you, sir.
Surely this one you don't need a conference, so it's quite yours.
Error.
Yes.
More office of the president is only presidential advisors. They're at the level of F0, and there are 6 presidential advisors. Presidential advisors.
What chief of staff?
Error.
What's about Kibasili?
O ka ba re nang go lela ba ba 6 bao ba ba mo F0 a ke re ke di advisor.
Error. Only investment advisor, only legal advisor, only ICT advisor, only only political advisor.
Only political advisor.
Error. Lead projects. Lead projects, say project advisor.
You're only project advisor.
Error.
Ba mo go F0.
Ba mo go F0.
F0 ke bokae kana ka kgwedi?
Okay. 65,000. Okay, 65. 65,000.
The total package would amount to about how much? Re itutile se mo maloba e le gore ha mo itla di allowance mo mabaki a mangwe di hita le one 65.
Kana ke di allowances say they differ from person to person. So what we can know for F0 is the basic. More the white paper.
Thank you. Are movele to the PS a ke re ba ke di advisor. Ya no are movele to the PS.
PS was state president. PS mo one hello state president. And then abanali the deputy debate. Abanali F1. One of the things that I have to explain, honorable members through you, Chair, ke gore Ministry of Defense moved to Ministry for State President, but the deployment structures are still going through negotiations. So those structures have not yet been approved by the upper panel. And once they are approved by the upper panel, the infusing of the Fs that are the F1s that are coming from who are temp secretaries, who are coming from the Ministry of Defense as they were coming to us, Rera Mukate and the team that I have here. The deployment structures for that has not been yet approved. So we are working with them because they have moved them. We are part of the team that are working with them through their upper panel to be approved, say. So I can count them, but once the deployment structure is not fully approved, because work needs to happen, and that is why, even though Chairperson Ara should have done basic things, they are still really working. The process of infusing them, it is still an ongoing process.
So we are likely to have a special advisor, CDL 6 at F0, and then have levels at DPS and deputy PS, 15, which is likely to make it go 21.
Not 21, say, not that high. I mean, if you count the advisors, remember, say, if I may take you back to the time when I was presenting here as Ministry for State President, I did talk about the Office of the President being facilitated by the Ministry for State President. So even though there is not a ministry, it also has got its own structures that needs to facilitate the presidency. So that is where the advisors lie, or Office of the President. Whereas for Ministry for State President, we so far according to the approved structure, it's only 1 PS and 3 secretaries at F1 level, and then the deputies. So I don't think it will go up to 21, sir. But that's the rationalization that is still taking place.
Mamoregisi.
Ra.
Go ha nna ke bela ro o le ka go sia ka dithogo tsa rona.
Yeah, monga ke can do that.
Ka gore wena
Era.
o le gone home
Era.
mo bekeng ya hitileng
Era.
o ne o re o accounting officer gape ya office of the president.
That's true, sir.
No re yalo ke.
It's true. And
And go ra ha ona re kgonegile a botsa gore batho ba ba level yone ya F0 le F1 ba kae. It falls on your table.
It does, sir.
And re bulele number ya teng ka bo amaru jo ka kgonang go master today.
And I'm doing that, sir, because what I'm saying, sir, there is the merging of 2 ministries. There is the Ministry for State President that has been ongoing, and then there is the merging of the ministry with the Ministry for State for Defense and Security. That is coming with, it is not, there was no accounting officer coming, but the F1 levels, where they are coming, and that is still going through the upper panel to finalize the overall structure.
Go remember Moregisi, go la ba sa eta ka upper panel.
Era.
Bonentse ha o kwa ba isa ko tsa F1 ya ke.
True, sir.
So they fall there. Ba home.
Era.
So how ka kwa ba discount on PM. But what I've realized also is that when it comes to these matters, so let's have a permanent secretary ba kae ba amogela ba kae. You guys are very cagey on these matters. Ha ke tore ka gore kana go ha leaders e le gore se ka ha molaong se teng se kwadilo. Me ya no ke bona ke toro repeat. Go ha ke dipotso se ma parliament ha ba di boletsela gore ba rata go botsa ba di boletsa go bona gore mme a se gore madi a mantsi a dirisiwa mo go dueleng maemo go na le go direla batho ditamelo kana go se tona gore batho ba sentse ba direla ditamelo. I don't think he's just asking because he likes asking.
But be assured, sir, that I'm not being cagey. I'm really answering at the best of my knowledge, and I'm saying the accounting officer or one, PS for State President, and I was telling you the F0s that are within Office of the President and the F1s and the F2s. But for me to conclude with certainty, say, it is when the upper panel has approved the overall structure, something which is still ongoing. It has not been done, sir.
It's likely to be completed when?
The upper panel met, I believe they'll be meeting sometime this month, sir, because we have submitted all the proposals to the upper panel to consider and approve.
We have interest in the matter.
We'll give you the...
Can you please, as and when you are done, pass on the information to our secretary?
We'll do that, sir.
We have great interest in the matter.
We'll
because
do that, sir.
I kere khaye tona ke gone gore so the right seka lona re le ha.
Yeah.
Ra le ba gore a me gone tota a go tlhokala gore hire batho ba maemo ba lekalo mme go ntse go tha gona madi me ditamelo gape di batho ba shota ditamelo ko tlase. I think that's where the honorable member is coming from.
We'll submit, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sepodisi se ne se le ka hata sa ha Ministry of Defense and Security o le gore kone o lo emetseng ha tsatsi jeno. Me since 2019 ba ntse ba sa duelwe sente. I don't think this one would I refer to the commissioner. Ka gore a kere dituelo di taditswa di banka ngwa from Office of the President di ya go go bo commissioner. Di basic pay tsa bone mapodisi wa thehela bana le deficiency between 300 and 500 since 2019. Me ha o bala mapodisa a leng teng e le gore deficiency ga e ka ha molao ka re ha re itse molao ope o reng a mapodisi ba duelwe ko tlase. On average le podisi lengwe le lengwe a ka re bua yana le koletiwa 30,000 including the commissioner. Are you aware of that?
Sir, I'm not aware of that because, like I said, the issues are welfare, my police lead to do when I say, didn't accounting with Sarate. And for any ministry or any department to have their pays revisited, it's a process. And that process has not reached my desk yet, sir. So I will not be in a position to talk about the Tuelo Zabone because the accounting officer, who is the commissioner of police, is responsible for bringing this to the leadership.
Thank you. If she brings it to the leadership, what would the process entail? Gore ba kgone go bona di tsa bona?
The process entails revisiting of their job description and the rationalization of their jobs that go through the panels, it's the management analysts, to find at what level, and that whole reorganization of the ministry goes through the appropriate channels within government that finally approve, and then it approves it is approved through cabinet, and I'm not sure whether after cabinet it goes to parliament, but those are the processes that look into the organizational structure of every department of government and ensure that the jobs are classified accordingly.
Here we are talking about a situation whereby a senior superintendent, what they were hot would do like a D1, and then Mongwele neko civilian side, what they were hot would do like a D1. But the one na 500 between this D1 and this D1. It's not an issue of job description. It's just an issue of how a white paper. It's a civilian. White paper, it's a melanco with the same scale, same notch. In a parlohanyo 500 less. Mapodisi bone, bare, it's because of budget. Is that the case?
I will not be aware, sir, because those are written issues. Those are issues that the white paper carries the figures, and the figures are approved and they go through process. So if the white paper is covering somebody at D1, the expectation is that the D1 that is being paid, same notch, should be the same. If there are differences within Botswana Police, the Botswana Police management will be in a better position to explain where those differences are coming from, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maloba kanta tana ko haraka raheta ka khanya. Hona le khanya ya freelancers ko information services le broadcasting services. They are not paid, kana they are not allowed gore ba tsebo di sick leave, ha ba tsa di sick leave ba khaolelwa madi, body leave ba khaolelwa madi, but some of them the mod contract about 12 months, it's about 2 years, it's a ena di leave. Labor yare state president khaya salamara molao morago. Ke go diragala jang?
We are aware of those situations, sir, and they should not have happened. And that is why currently, so sometimes the freelancers have got their contracts that determine their work. And so some of the grievances have come to the desk of my minister, and he has actually set up a committee to look into these grievances and see even some of the complaints that the freelancers are having, even the renewal of their contracts, it's left to really the last day. They are never sure whether they will, the following day when the contract ends, whether they're continuing or not. So those are some of the grievances they are being looked into, say, and we are trying to solve them.
You'll have the last one, sir.
The last one. You are overseeing, coordinating on behalf of the Office of the President.
Yeah.
Kona le buka ki bidua Green Book.
Yes, sir.
It was a diletseng hale mo setšhabeng ha go ta mo gore setšhaba se itse ka bonya gore e na le bothata jwa buka e gore e ka ntshiwa hela ya nna public ya itsewe ke mongwe le mongwe hela gore di benefits tsa di ministera ke eng hela jaaka di benefits tsa mapalamente di itsewe hela jaaka di benefits tsa motirela puso mongwe le mongwe di itsewe as per white paper e tswa ngwaga le ngwaga. Bothata jwa Green Book gore be le sephiri ke eng?
Green Book has sephiri, sir. It's a public document. So anybody who wants to know what is contained in the Green Book has got the right to have it.
Parliament ha izure bonwa ka yo ngikisho se se tshwenya.
It's It's being taken care of by the Cabinet Office. So if anybody wants a copy of the Green Book, they can get in touch with the Cabinet Office to get a copy.
ke eng e sa kgone go rekisiwa hela mo government gazette like ke kgona go tsena mo government gazette be ke bona sengwe le sengwe cabinet office ta be go raya gore go iwe ko office of the president ha se re ngwe re ta e congest
I'll look into it, sir. Ke tla discuss le bo PSP.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nyami, ke tsa gore ra buile ke ne ke sa dumele gore ga ya rona eta nna telele. Mme a ke yo ka reng ke bona interest ya mapalamente ka bo ke le ka go e suppressa. Mme a re okopa teng re tere bue re hetse re okopa teng re tere bue re wetse le lona batho betso go nnile go leele go eta ka ne ke gopotse ke akantse. Thank you very much. We are invited for tea. Batho betso 20 minutes because re nile seemonyana sa nako. The floor is yours.
Thank you very
Honorable
much.
Kologolo.
Thank you, Mudlastilo, and through you, sir. I'm the accounting officer. Can you shed some light on the district commissioners? There seem to be some issues they raised with your office.
Yeah.
And if indeed that statement is correct, what can you say to it?
Thank you, through you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Kologolo. It is true that there are some grievances that the Office of the District Commissioner as a whole, not just the DC, but the whole, had some issues, and mainly a lot of their grievances were under progression. So what had happened is that, if you recall last week when I was here, I did talk about the districts being increased from, the District Commissioner's office being increased from 12 to 33. And during that time, as we were implementing the decentralization, there was also a decision that was made by government to elevate the district commissioner to F2, and then the deputy district commissioner to E1. Previously, the district commissioner was at E1, and they were assisted at E2. So this elevation, this assimilation upwards, created a gap in E2. So you realize now that there was not, the whole purpose was not to do an upward pull throughout the cadre. Therefore, it created a gap in the scale in between. Therefore, we did try to put in some fairness by advertising the post, and some members of the district office felt that they were being put unfairly, because they were not able, if they had to compete for deputy commissioner post at E1, the advert demanded that they should have served at E2. So they felt that that was putting them at a disadvantage. We have since realized that they really have a point, and we engaged them. We engaged their lawyers, we engaged, my minister engaged, and we engaged even the DPSM to try to really normalize all the situation. The other issue that we see as a grievance from some of them, even to the lower posts, is that because of the newly established districts, a lot of lower cadres were acting on higher posts when we were still looking for posts. And definitely there were some who had legitimate expectation that they should have been promoted into those posts. We are continuously discussing with them. They do have a point. Some of them, we have compensated them for their acting, which is prolonged, but some of them we are also dealing with the issues of filling the posts. That, because the point here was there were some where there were no approved posts. So we were in the process of requesting for more posts so that we can actually elevate them. And actually my minister has been very, very particular on the welfare of the district commissioner to ensure saving the nation across all the 31 districts fairly, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope in the next examination we would have a positive feedback on this exercise.
We'll do that, sir.
Because they are very critical people in our districts.
Yeah.
So the last thing we want is to be served by aggrieved district commissioners.
Yes, sir.
On my next topic, or question rather, there's a new government. There's a UDC government which has its own manifesto. And are you aware of the manifesto? Have you gone through it? Do you know what is expected of your ministry going forward? Have you read the manifesto?
We have read the manifesto, sir. Kind of like you rightly say, any new government, as civil servants, our duty is to implement the destruction of the government of the day. So we need to understand what the promises of the government of the day is. And as you recall, we did have the State of Nation address. We did have the committee of supply speeches, we did have the budget speech. All those were meant to align to the promises of the incoming government. So we deliberately had to sit down and say, as guided by our principles, what is it that, as our ministers, as our principals, what is it that needed to go into the frameworks of planning?
Okay. In that same document, the issues that we raised earlier, including the one that speaks to security companies and the work environment, the Yabone, are issues that are well spelled out in the manifesto. So the question would be, as far as your ministry is concerned, how far have you gone into making sure that these are fully implemented?
I think you'll agree with me, sir, that anything that you need to implement starts with planning, starts with infusing the new concepts, and that is what we are doing. We are planning, we are bringing in the new concepts that has to go with the funding. And one of the issues that we are actually doing in our ministry is the National Development Plan, which spells out and which is going to actually put in the promises of the current government. And in that planning, the consultations are ongoing to ensure that every department, every mandate holder infuses within their planning. As you are aware, the National Planning Commission that sits within the Ministry for State President has been doing national consultation just to align the people's expectations and the plan together, to put it together so that it can go through cabinet and go through parliament for the leadership to approve, sir. So that's what happens, is the planning, and the implementation will come. But some of the pronouncements that were done at the State of the Nation address, and some of them have been done at the budget speeches, we are already implementing them, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. The other thing that you may be, you may pay a little attention to, it's actually implementation of those plans, because it doesn't really take us anywhere to come up with good laws and there's no implementation. One such example was the reveal of the sex offenders. No action has been taken, and this commenced in December 2021. So you can imagine the disservice some of these to the nation. So with that, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'm done.
The last one.
Thank you.
Narrative.
Mr. Chairman, Honorable Chair. Next time, we will propose in yellow hour. On approve 1.5 billion. Me, who live a finance by disability only 1 billion. We are Kahane Ragu getting that. What's holding the other half a billion?
What is holding the other half a billion?
And why?
Okay, right. So, Musutele Mutuziana Kaye to Natal. Yama Matsera about Valavanti. Leva Malapa, one Leva Batsala.
Yes, Kanacheona Kalmela or Negrekanakan.
Surka Rata in the Yaruka,
I go well Teleki and keep Potsavori. Do I really have the authority to say who will lay 1 billion? Hankama to evidence. Kiko provider. So can I get Samayala because he eats a Haran consultant more projecting or headed to good space you are 1 billion. Otherwise, I would have said no, total financing exactly how much was disbursed. But the hell because I'm in this project. To go displace 1 billion. Irle 500 million okay, but kana home when the budget. it didn't mean gona le madi ke ala beilwe le yana gompieno ga re tisa 500 million re itela space sa government se sena se.
Okay. Ramtausan, thank you. At the 500 million in a budget. And se pasha sena laile. Si.
Kore ke ta tengo khanye ya sepashi. One ana ke dumela gore gona le mananeo a hela mantsi a le gore khanya madi go nka be re sa nne re bua ka yone. Ibile tota na ke le gore ke ne re bua ne be go nna go te khanya madi ka gore the indicators are not showing gore madi ga. A typical example gona le madi a bo chema. Tell me, King yanong le a isiwa go te ke di grants in a di loan. Why do you expect to get money mo go government? Gore mo go government madi a bonwa ka go tsenya letseno ka tsela tse di harologaneng. There is a revolving account. Le change le la re yanong ke le ha batho mahala. Does that show gore me ga gona madi? Kra gore ka ntse ka te a go supa gore ga gona madi.
Haba sa ke a rutsa go ikgolega. Ne ke re gongwe leo o ga sore gongwe re skara kana eno ka re lo amasolehela a chaisitseng ya no kire a re go re be mo goreng kana finance yeta kwa a sore kana mo re beile pele re ba ela bone ba finance gongwe ra ba ra oketsa le tse dingwe tse re di bonang di diragala mme go ta gona madi mme di tswele tse di diragala
Nyame ke a hutwa che but tota hela yone ka hanne ke ba ka ting kana le patali these programs tota ke la yone ke bana ba tlang ka di initiative tsena tsa gore re thusa setšhaba yana. That is why ne ke tsenya moti
gongwe le gale ke
ha ile se ka yera
me Mariana kana gongwe ke motsela se ba ka hela go ka yaraba county officer thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Kana the initiative, see, Honorable, lies with the mandate holders. So Chema doesn't lie with the Ministry for State President. It lies with the Ministry of Trade. They have budgeted for it. They can be the ones who can say why has it changed and what was the initial. It will be very difficult for me to try to answer that one.
I give me an are na wana ke go tsenya arenya me yone office of the president kana ke yone tona the initiative itse di motivate wa ke yone gone ko le motona teng ko state president ari alo kana nna ne ke rile ke batla gore re ise go finance ya no mpenza ha bua ore di tswa gone kwa
yeah me Honorable Chairperson, I think state president through the office of the president, yes, they are coordinating this, but the mandate holders are discussed with the relevant ministries, relevant sectors. So it will, even though it might have come through office of the president, it will be through the advice of the relevant mandate holders.
If any instructions come from the office of the president, go bua gore nya ya no go mo nna ni ha ke tsora a le batla go nthaleri ba trade ke bona ba ka tswa mare lenyame re siane sentle re ka phimola dikoloto tse ne re di netse batho gore ba netse ke tsa gore this was a directive from the president and tautela na dithata. But with the advice, of course, ya gore a me re ka sela kae go le ka go baakanya dilo tse dintseng jana ya no ke ba square mo ministry mo ka gore ya be le taelo tswang go office of the president gore nya jalo mariane re batho ra ba dimile ya no ra phimola ra ba ha se sekoloto mme ka ha ra re ga gona madi a ile gore a ka duela dilo tse dingwe se ka yela ka yona BDF. Imagine batho ba ba modimo ga bolo go kulutiwa le baka le le kae and ga gona madi why ke ngwana wa na sa tsewe gate lona finance ka ra gona madi a ra tsenyeng ka hare re ne re duele masole ka gore ne re dumalanye gore re le neela 1.5 billion. This is where I'm coming from.
You still stick to your argument about mandate holders?
Yes, sir.
Ma?
It will be very unfair to try to come and speak on behalf of the Ministry of Trade, sir.
Or Minister of Finance?
Or Minister of Finance. They had a dialogue with the President or with the Office of the President, like Honorable says, and they agreed and they put that, whether it was an instruction, whether it was, I think they will be in a better position, say, to really talk about that.
I want to tell
Okay, thank you, sir. Yami, begin to Mohione. Kanyana PS, ya go measure these two ministries. Ya mire hole kanakang ofisia gago in terms of go budiredi le go leka tiro go ketsa tiro mo ministry wa gago. Kore ha ke tsonga ba ya me. Let me put it this way. I've realized a lot of times Ministry of State President Okaro maphata o tlhela lebegang ekete a tshwere dilo ko pele ba tsewa ba tsisiwa ko ministry ngona a go moga go imetse tiro se ka ile bone bo molaudi kana bo molaudi used to be ko local government and they were doing a very good job ko local government gompieno ba ile ko OP nna no ke bona gore o ka re balaudi ke di celebrity hela ha ke di protocol officers hela ga ke bone the impact ya balaudi hela ya ka ne ba le ko local government gompieno ke bona di protocol officers kana ke re sa irele Ministry of State President di protocol officers ra tlogela balaudi hela ba go dira tiro e neng ba e dira e ne siame bona hala tota ko local government ba go neetse defense gape. What's your take on this? Ga go imelwe ke tiro kana ke sonse bana gompe go tshwana go rotele bo PS ba bangwe a ke tsore ano gore ba di thrownilwe bo PS go tswa go maphateng a bone ba bereka ka tlase ga gago as the PS ya OP.
Thank you, sir. I think I want to say your first question was how has it affected the load in my office. These transfers, when they happen, a lot of them are coming with the capacity that was there. You are transferring the mandate and the capacity that was there. So we work together. We believe we are managing. Yes, it is, the workload has increased, but because it is coming up with the expertise in Nelugo, we are managing on it, sir. On the district commissioners, now I want to believe that the district commissioners, when they came to Office of the President, first of all, their welfare was improved. And I've got a lot of examples to give you on those ones. And they were also elevated to make sure that they oversee and coordinate the work in the districts. They are not just protocol officers. They are doing a lot of good work in coordinating the work in the districts, which is a little bit additional from what they are doing. They did not leave out what they were doing when they were in the Ministry of Local Government. So yes, they have been given a lot. Maybe they are prominent now on their role that they are doing as facilitating the leadership when they finish. But there's more to what the district commissioners are doing. And you asked whether today you see a lot of PSs. Let me explain that when the Ministry of Defense was transferred to Office of the President, it was matched through, and the permanent secretary, the accounting officer of that ministry, did not come with the ministry. The mandate was transferred, but the mandate has got experts that they are dealing with. And this is a new transition, sir. When I come before this committee, I know I am supposed to have studied, and I did my best to try to study all the things that were coming with Ministry of Defense. But there are expert areas that I didn't have expertise on. So that is why even in my executive summary, I did request the chairperson to allow me to say, because this committee needs answers. And some of them I may not be having it because of the new transition that is coming. I think with months or 2-3 months down the line, I will be able to answer a lot of them. But now, to satisfy the questions that are coming from this honorable committee, I needed to bring the experts so that they give you. So these experts are project holders, they are mandate holders of the varied expertise. And this is what I'm talking about, that the bringing in of the ministry came with the expertise thing. So in terms of coordination, yes, it has increased the coordination level in my office, but it has also brought the expertise that are also teaching me how to infuse all the relevant departments that have come through, sir. Thank you.
Nyami kone wa bua mikene kere kore hela mutho a gore ana gore editse ka the first installment of your appearance here. Aba go retsa gompieno aba bona ka ha no conference ka teng. I think one would get the impression that your ministry is bloated and maybe unmanageable at times. Ke ra ha motho ke ra ke tsamela go khaya ya ga re mtausa no go le ba ke to ka re go kwa go nna go ntsinyana gante la no go palwa ke go appreciate one mandate yote e ta re go bitsa bonna o tela ka bore amakorwane ba thalosa dingwe home ka gore tota go hetse go nna go ntsi mo state president and also the president. But anyway, you go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Ni bile we tlhagitse sentle kore nna ka ke bona yaanong ha ile gore puso mo le moetsa ka moso mongwe BCP tla be tsere e tla be tsa tse dingwe gape mo bona gore o ka re go batla go laolwa ke tautona e be go tla mo ofising eo. I think, don't you think mo gompienong tota hela re tshwanetse re nne le tsamaiso ya lehatshe la rona e leng gore e tsamaisa gore maphata ka hantseng ka teng ka ta be ra beile ka teng ha go tlhoke gore every president o tsena ha ba change ministry o change o bidua o ka moso o change o bidua o ka moso o change o bidua e gore tlhama lela re itse gore ha ile gore na le phata le bidua go te ke defense le ho whether go tla utona o montšha o jang, that ministry will remain Ministry of Defense o ntse hela ka o ntse ke ra gore we bona yang go tšhentšhile ga kae hela selaka bo president ba ba tsena ke go ha se kae bona gore re ke ra tsara change ministry wa education wa ra o kgaoganya gabedi o lo kopantswe maloba ibile o kgaogantswe gape. What does this mean to OP ka gore ke yone tota e leng responsible go kgaoganya le go leka go alaena ka ha e batlang go alaena ka teng?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chairman.
In your political question, I don't know, but I mean, as a leader in that ministry, if you go to America, like for instance, foreign policy in America is very clear. Whether it's Trump or who, the foreign policy is the same. This is where I'm going. I'm trying to put you, or don't you see it in that line? Thank you.
Please attempt to respond.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Go ahead.
P.S. In addition to his question, is there a consultative process before this happens? Are you consulted such that you may prefer advice, if any? But is there a consultative process?
Thank you, sir. But if you recall, sir, this question was also asked to me the first time I appeared here. And the answer that I gave then, gather everybody who comes and all the changes that are done, they are done to improve service delivery. They are done to improve alignment and synergy. So every person who gets in the seat of power has got strategies of how he wants to run their government. And if they believe to create a synergy of putting this ministry with this one, that is how best I'm going to deliver to the nation, they will do that. And I think I can just go, like Mudula Stilo says, some of the issues are really beyond civil servants. And the other thing is there consultation. Yes, there's consultation, but the consultation can NLD level at Ione. Honali, consulting, and then they will give it also to some of the experts in the area of rationalization and of the organizational structures. They do consult them, and then that is where all the new synergies are created and are given. So,
yeah, it is. But Corey, now the angle that I was coming from, the consultation, yeah. Corey, Kilibile Haraka Horiano, Okara, Samika, Kero Camoso, Ministry of Copanche, Camoso, Okahancho, Camoso, Copanche, Camoso,
Chairman, point of something, point of clarity.
Yeah, make the point.
I think let's be careful. My dear friend, Honorable Mutausan, onare policy, foreign policy ya America, high change ha a new regime. I think that's a bit misleading. I just googled now what it does.
Mudula still is it allowed? Is it allowed?
Point. Hey,
yeah,
nka dira statement ke le monageng se le wrong se re itswe ke batho kwa one of us ona le right gore nya ga go nna yalo kana my dear honorable MP are ke policy tsa government wa Botswana di change go tsena a new regime abare kwa America
foreign policy.
Honorable Chair.
Yeah, I'm on floor.
Honorable Chair. No, Honorable Chair. I think this is wrong. This is a committee issue. Honorable, if he has something to discuss, he can discuss outside my interviews. Can I, Rihanna? I'm going to.
I don't think this is supposed to go. I don't think this is supposed to be a plan. Can you persuade that, Honorable?
My point, Chairman, people are listening to us. Yes. And then, I'm a Honorable Mutterson. People are listening to us. If I make a statement,
can we?
And if I make a statement, Cecilin wrong in many ways, I should not be allowed to reckon it. Kana are policy ya Botswana, ya foreign policy, kenye change a new government. Abare, ko America, policy, foreign policy, high change.
Marian, kanya statement sa Honorable Mutausan. Kanya ka debate yu angalubaka. When you muguguseng, ukaso harialo. Hold a different view. So are dumala negor Honorable Mutausan Seneca intervention ya hello. Rohu tule so si bu angkor nya hawan na jalo. That's fine. Are to lepin ware foreign policy ya America ya change.
It's a fact. Policy ya America ya change. I was a new president.
Granted. Yeah. So we can't be debating that. Yes, that is.
It's a reality.
Honorable Mutausan, is your turn. It's your chance to speak.
In terms of advice, ha re ntse re hetola maphata go gongwe re iphitlhela re tsentse nte go ga se ka yela gompe re batla Ministry of Higher Education go lebega go ise go nne le gore Ministry of Higher Education kana o tsetswe staff se se tshwanetseng gore ka be se tla lene se mo thusa go tla mo PAC. It's not even there. Me o nkela tlhoko gore ga ke bui ka gore mente wa gompieno hela ke bua le ka o hitileng gore e rile re tsena ga na le diphetogo tse nneng ministry e mebedie ra hela re kopantse mo tseleng gompieno re bona di nnete go e kgaoganya gore dilo tsena to me they should be standard gore re itse gore di ministry ya ka di ntse ana ha re o tsenang le ena wa itse gore any improvement ya batlang go e dira o ka e dira but go change gore ke tsa se ka ile ha o uta ngwana go sekoleng tota yesterday no morare gona le Ministry of Higher Education last ka moso morare ke Ministry of Education o tlhakanye le wa what that is where I'm coming from. So the advice
my estimation you have made your point. It's only that for when
it's beyond the head.
Final say on it. But
yes,
there's an issue around there which we also must engage as politicians.
Yes.
I think you have made that point, we have made it before. I think it's made. I think let's move forward.
Probably don't need to answer it, but as an advisor in the ministry, ne kra gore dilo tse gongwe re ne re engage ka tsone gore a mme re tla re tsamaya sentle.
Think about it. Think about it. We also engage as politicians.
Yes.
Because on a point. Kore o tsena hela le ene o taba batla go ba footprint le stamp sa gago gore na ka batla changes. Me ha ngo bo sa re berekele sentle. I think that's the point he's trying to make. Ultimately. So Milwena, you are an advisor in government. So how na le kakanyo di tshwana tso di tsere mo go ba bangwe o ka bona gore o di tsenya yang go di influence decision making. Kana le mathale ya go influencer ma politiki ya kere. Ha bona le ile maemo ona ba itse gore le ka kgona go ba influencer le bone le ka kgona go ba gakolla tsa tsengwa ha ba staka ba ta go golona. Etsa tsere ngwe me ha ba sa staka ba ka dira hala le seo re dira jalo le ma politiki. Me ra buile batho mamrekisi o tahala bobedi wa kholele energy e kalo ya go taha mokgetho a le mabedi ya go bonolo kana gape le tiro ko ya go batla re ta tswa re go botsa ka moso gape re tiro ya no bona ro o latheletse tiro re go kgolele sone se gore o kgonne gore bona e le kgetho la bobedi mme re tse di builweng ha a empo e se ka nna kgang hela ya gore ne go tilwe PAC go ne go tilwe PAC be le go a buiwa go bo go hetswa bo go phatalala go iwa lunching e be le gore go tata go emelwa PAC eng. Please follow up on the issues tse go builweng ka tsone ka yone ya masole e rights o na le ha ba re kana ke mang
Brigadier Siana
brigadier na kana go le brigadier le moya brigadier ga ye ya masole ya re tshwenya go wa ba bona mo parlamente one la se ong han ga ye ya go go diofising tsa bona gore yang ba bangwe ba duetswe bona ha ba duelwa use everything in your power e go persuade ba tshwanetse go duela gore ba the budget for these people. It's a very, very important matter. E re sa tshwanela go etsa bonolo tse dingwe le di utule ya no nai ba nne ba budiwa ke ona go ikgonegile a re ke ba e leng gore gongwe ba tlhokahetse ya no ha go utwa go te ba taya go master ne ba ka sala ke tshoganyana gore kana master le ene o go ba dia gape bone ka gore ha go utwa go te ba tuo ya kong ya no ke ipotsa gore ha one madi a bona a teng kong go tsa jang ke sa is an issue for another day ba mo ba tsaya gore ke ngwa ke rate master nya ke mutrela puso o bereka ha bereka ntemme di khantsa go dia ga thata a re tsweleleng batho betso re tsene mo di khanyeng tsa madi di table tsa madi. People should also realize that you see the governance issues that we are talking about have a bearing also on the financials because so no tabat ba bua gore gongwe ministry bloated di department ga dina batho hela jalo ke di khantse di amang madi le tsone re tsontsha ra skara la sala ko morago me all our advisors are you ready for the financials? Technical advisor, AG, Attorney General, Accountant General and Auditor General. Are you all ready? If you are, Honorable Lesedi, can you take us to the memorandum of progress?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Rago similar more page 18 of our booklet. More. Yes, Chairman. Page number 18, right, Page number 19, Brighton. Number 2, we memo. Ma?
Page 18, everything was done in 23-24.
Yes, sir.
So I think memo is appropriate.
Honorable Lesedi?
Yes, sir.
Page 18, are you?
No, Kekaya Mohela, but I go ha, Mr. Chairman, ha Urutua Ukahela Satswan. Because Tola had didn't say, I know it like the balances, telling what is not the balances. So I thought to Horaka had not the balance. Me, market say, come.
No number here, but I know.
Rora, so
it's what the hell in the memo, more page 18. Okay. Honorable Lesedi?
Yes, sir. Nekere Hongwe Parago page 19. Retse Yantari Twale Brighton. Ego tasivere to halele memo.
Chemoko yone o ya ga Brighton. Ba kwadile gore the matter was considered for write-off on the 8th of December 2022, as the Attorney General's chambers could not locate Mr. and was finally closed by Ministry of Finance. Kurkara bona our communication in
page 19.
Authority for write-off error.
Okay.
Cover attach as evidence.
The authority for write-off by Minister of Finance.
Error.
Error.
Kurina kitse tsoro gongwe ba tshwantse go attach that letter as part of evidence.
Hey. Can we now take it to the financial controller?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Yes, Harabana Mukwalo Jonkwa Accountant General, but the result of the Accountant General has acceded to our request as the right channel was taken. And indeed, more as in your appear account, it shows that it's a close matter. It's just to the public accounts.
Yeah, I can't say that. I saw the high lower back city, the center of Gondele, Simoyan, the Supanjan.
Normally, but more Rabrasawana, but I lower chairman right to Hela, Takamukwalo as evidence of Taukupakubo.
A Mukwalo thing, Rahobon, how to occupy your Goluna.
Rakatarova the secretariat.
Okay. Aradumalan Rahon.
Sorry, Che. I get your I spelling Yamaha, Anokarke Mainama Vidia Harlohani. Kahana de Manure, Kahana Manure. Only Hotoka or Hobanka with the correct name.
True, sir. Lemolo Horar Haraba, I have some na manunuri, is some zona manunuri with you.
Yama Junior Asoloni.
Horari.
Lelimo comments in Asoloni. So we can correct the Lelimo comments here. What a little sia Migile. Nia Ratsuani, on Alema Nunure. On Alema Nunure Manunure. Which is the correct one? I think that's what we need. Okay. So little more commenting, you just need to correct that one, right? Yes. Thank you very much. We can proceed. Honorable Lesedi.
Yes, sir. Mirror Marego page 20. Page 20, we only close number 2. No, we close number 2. Number 1 and number 3, we memo. Page 21, dealt with. Page 22 dealt with, Mr. Chairman. Page 23, we leave them earlier dealt with. Page 24 also dealt with. Page 25, we monitor. 26, we monitor, Chairman. Page 27, we monitor.
Sorry, on page 27, more table ya bobedi, ha BOTSWANA Defence Force. Percentage ha ke 47, but the percentage ko executive summary ke 43 on page 16. Ke indi kardia varia.
Thank you, Honorable Kekgonegile, for that observation. Taborere ditse Chief Accountant.
Chief Accountant.
Thank you, sir. Okay, my thinking was the 47 is the correct, probably Kakwara capture center chairman. Kakwa executive fee. Okay, all right. Thank you, Chair. I think it's just the addition, Chair. The figure is wrong, because if we recalculate and probably come up with.
I think the 43 was for the overall ministry, including all Mapata Hotel headquarters.
Thank you, I'm covered.
Okay, that's fine. Honorable Seri.
Thank you, Chairman. Nerlogo page 28, the above table, monitor. Then Kotase from paragraph 20, dealt with. Page 29, we monitor. Page 30, we close for number 2, Shumba projects. The rest we monitor. Page 31, Mr. Chairman. We close number 11, number 14, and number 17. The rest we monitor. Page 32, we monitor, Chairman. Page 33, from number 1 to number 4, dealt with. Confiscated assets trust, we monitor. Page 33. Number 6 to number 9, those are dealt with. Table A, we monitor. Then we move to page 34. Table A, we monitor, Mr. Chairman. Can I get some zone of Takola? Yeah, Mr. Chairman, una kilang kakola me hongwa hakitsora kitskona hartenyano.
But if there was a next time, I would have said, or this analysis we did run for the different what we did separately on a separate one, so that when we get here, you nenka be re bua like I do headquarters. Me re bone hana gore this figure e ke a BDF ke a
Ba
BDF
muta
go se
Honorable
ngwa.
Digwa. Madam Technical Advisor, buela go godimo le ram 1000 ya go utlwa on the other end. Just explain.
No, ne ke advise the accountant ela gore if there was a next time, like for ministry ona, cause go kgaogantswa ke re ka the different accounting offices gore nka ba dirile a separate like paper yela e supang gore mo balancing yena this one ke a BDF ena ke a eng, and then on this report you just bua ka tsa headquarters here.
No re dito re ska ra monitorers.
Let's just talk about what relates to headquarters.
You were talking about the police.
No, they've been dealt with.
Okay.
Police, BDF,
Oh, okay. Basically, what she's advising is that because it's a delay, it's a police, it's a BDF, so I concentrate more as a headquarters here. Is that appreciated? Understood? Probably said.
No, ke a motaloganyo ko re na e thought gore gora gore ha dile ha ra ira sengwe mo go tsone, but advice ya gwe ke a e utlwisisa.
They have been dealt with.
Yes.
So if they have been dealt with, so then we may proceed without them because they're already done.
We can proceed, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Page
34, table Ekutasiu. Let's close it. Page 35, we are closing number 3, 4, 5, 6. The rest, we already monitor, Mr. Chairman. Page 36, the whole page we monitor. Page 37, the whole page we monitor. Page 38, number 3, table ya godimo we close. Then from number able to say table where number 20 or 19, 21, we dealt with. Ra hit a table ya BDF. Ra hit a page 39 ka table ya police presence and BDF. Ra go page 40. Page 40 from number 1 to number 7 we close, Mr. Chairman. We were ordinarily withholding tax, rental, where it's still dealt with. Table ekota seo right togela ya Botswana Defence Force and Botswana Police. Ko page 41 table eko demo we close it. Table e hagareo we monitor it. No right togela ka re ke yone ba Botswana Defence Force and Police Service right togela, Mr. Chairman. Then paragraph 27, statement of account, advance accounts dealt with, page 42.
The table is in. So just showing an analysis, which is showing an analysis of the totals. It's an element of the table.
Continue research.
Yeah, I get a table like I can know advice I can tola.
Department, what? She's just giving an analysis. Yeah, they relate them to the headquarters. But on also the one and goes disupileka. More analysis here. But if it's confusing me, let's just continue.
Arako page 42, under table N, a justification for recovery of areas of revenue headquarters. That table, it's memo.
Sawubona. Ngitsona le rona.
On that table, 1 and 2 we close. We memo 3 to 6 and close 7 to 11.
We close 5 as well. Okay, let's continue.
Honorable Sedi.
Tshwantse be ke sa utlwa accountant general kore nna ke dumela gore ra go tlogela ya number 3 le ya number 4 le ya number 6 le ya number 8 no le ya number 10. The rest kore tshwanetse ke reng ke di memo le ya number kore number 1 le number 2 ha ke sure kana go twe financial year wa 23-24 ga ke tsene gore re tswale di se o ka re o ntogela yaanong ke le mo nageng.
Accountant General.
Number 1, key memo, 2 key memo, 3 memo, then we close 4 and 5, we memo 6, then close 7, 8, and 9, then we memo 10 and close 11.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 4 and 5. No, it's in 5. 4. Can I lay outstanding balance?
But it was within the. It was within the.
How do I?
Closing balance.
It was within the closing balance. Like you know, 4.
4.
But receipt there on a super 22-23. It's within, we can close.
It's within.
Yeah.
The balance of Honorable Sedi.
Yeah, 150. Can I get a chance to read some 00? Or look and tell.
They say on the last page they say amount settled, but you are saying 150 that shows a balance, right?
Yes, sir.
That's his contention, though.
Yeah,
it's all original 150.
No, I kry le gore gongwe go kwalegile ya lo ka phoso ke ra gore go tshentse gore go nne very clear ke ra re ina le balance le la ke la e bona.
There is a balance, Accountant General. Ki yone o e tswala ena le balance ya 150.
The receipt di suggest gore e clear.
Ke sone se Honorable Sedi ya re ha ile gore go phoso ngwe e dirahetseng a re nne clear la nya go phoso e dirahetseng di receipt tsone they point to the contrary.
Go ntse alo ke phoso ke dumela gore ke phoso ba tshwantse gore ba ipotisetse ka kore in scan na le closing balance
e scan na le 150 yo nya mi tsa rona we tsere sent Honorable Sedi gore ha ke a tswela ntse na le balance ka ha bo go teanong nya go tswetswe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Chairman.
Nakere Honorable Mr. Obon. Na re bona balance ka ha na le Honorable Sedi ya no re simola go thobela gore Sedi mo di a cancel wa are tswela Honorable Sedi.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Ra go page 44. Page 44. we monitor number 1 for its own name, number 2, number 3, then number 4 we close. Ma?
Just one is memo. No relem on it.
Home as a statement number 22.
It's on Mogoroshi.
Okay, honorable. It's fine. 22 we monitor.
Honorable Sage. You monitor?
Yes, sir, we monitor.
Yes.
Yes. Nekeretswala ya ga Pandora ya number 4.
Number 4,
Then the pages that you latelang, obviously, re original page headquarters. I can create the table. I can make the tole for. Re page 46. Page 46 is headquarters. We monitor. 47 we monitor. The whole tables. More page in your thing. 48 we also. No right to lie. Botswana Defense Force Police and also page 49 relevant table e hagare we monitor it ke yone le re leba then hare ya ko page ya bohelo ya 50 are di spam go yona right tola dine di ile yone page ya bohelo Mr. Chairman enka
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. And then we go to. Okay. We done? The last page is page 50.
Yes, sir.
Ah, okay. Kita gore re na ko ya rona ya re go hai. Nako ya re 1 ke yone nako ya lunch tota ko se ro ya kry price 1 ke yone nako ya lunch tota nako ya re 1 mamrekisi re go tara gore re tsene mo dijong tsa motshegare la lalediwa batho betso le thotse le rona mo honorable members go tsena ya minerals gora gore e re ka 2 re bo re le ha re bua le ba minerals le ka itse gore meapo e rai mo matshelong a lehatshe la Botswana le Batswana gora gore le tele le ipakanyeditse go engage ke a leboga batho betso a reng ko dijong tsa motshegare